All right. What's going on, guys? This is Nathan. Welcome to episode number 10 of My Cup of Tea. Double digits, finally. All right. So we got a big episode today in regards to all things Dune. We're going to be going shot for shot through the trailer, giving our review of everything, reviewing in spoilers a couple of films that have recently released in various media format, and other stuff we've watched. But joining us as always today, we have Evan.
Hey guys, how's it going? Yeah, for a summer that was pretty empty of movies. It's great seeing 3 movies in one weekend again. Yeah, and I can't wait to dive into all that with you. But of course, we got to do a deep dive into Dune. Never read a single page of the book. All I just know is Denis Villeneuve with a fantastic cast and a crazy world coming in hopefully December. So yeah, can't wait to talk about all of it with you guys.
And also joining us with 50 Easter eggs you missed is Carson.
Yes, I am Screen Rant today. Dune. Oh my god. Dune, guys. Dune, it's here. Oh my god. It's like we saw that cinema exclusive teaser and I was like, okay, kind of have my expectations set for the actual trailer. And they just dropped this 3-minute stuff trailer at us. And I'm like, oh my god. It's got so much. I'm so excited to break it down. But yeah, we're going to talk about Tenet in full spoilers this week. That's exciting. And, you know, I saw something hilarious on Twitter. It was, the Russell Crowe movie or whatever, whoever's in it, Unhinged. Yeah. And they tweeted a marketing poster like, a movie that doesn't make your head spin Unhinged in theaters now.
Oh, wow.
I'm like,
wow.
What?
That pseudo marketing.
And someone quoted the tweet and said the critics put out a hit when throwback to when on the iconic film Twitter moment when John Travolta's Gotti was in theaters and they were acting like every critic was out to get him, and they did real interviews with people at the theaters and was like, "Did you like Gotti? Oh, no, John Travolta was amazing."
That was crazy.
Anyways, I'm on an off tangent, but sometimes I just love this website. It's too funny. But yeah, we're gonna talk about all this stuff. Can't wait to break it down.
All right, so we're gonna go side by side with things whenever that appears. However, it just, I guess, initially thoughts off the bat. What a trailer, you know? 3 minutes, insane. It was crazy. I didn't expect that. Because again, I saw the preview in front of Tenet. I don't know if
which was crazy good.
Yeah. Okay. So, and Evan, you saw it in Dolby
IMAX.
You saw it. Okay. So we all saw IMAX. I don't know if it's an IMAX exclusive, but
yeah, it is. It was not in Dolby when I saw Tenet for the second time.
So Carson went back to Dolby. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it was weird too because it's effectively a different cut of. It's like an extended sequence, basically, with some teaser shots.
Yeah.
So I feel like we essentially have 4 minutes of Dune in the public.
Yeah, we saw the teaser trailer, and then we saw the behind the scenes stuff we saw earlier today in front of the trailer because everybody was waiting for 12 o'clock EST.
That was so annoying. I'm sorry. Okay, it was nice to see them be passionate about the movie, but I'm sitting there refreshing, and then this Twitter Movies link comes up, and I'm like, what is this? And I had to sit on this Twitter Movies live stream waiting for the trailer to debut. I'm like, what is going on? But then it just was all worth it.
I didn't mind it. I had to mute our group chat because our whole group chat was just all complaining about it. I'm like, I gotta mute you guys. I love you guys. I'm sorry.
It's funny too.
I literally I started my day today waking up an hour before the trailer had to drop. I'm still laying in bed, and I was like, I would be remiss if I didn't do a video on Dune today, but I was like, I really need a shower. Of course, I'm going to take a shower right as it drops, so I muted chat. And I just went and came back, slicked hair style.
Wow.
Haven't done that since Birds of Prey.
Nice.
Yeah, man, it is something. We do have it now.
Yes. Okay, let me see if I have it in 0.25 speed. I hope it will play.
Great.
All right, we get a solid.
I love that gold WB logo too.
Oh, it's so crisp.
I like that WB went back to the classic-esque.
Yeah.
All right, let's see how that is. Slow motion, baby. Well, this will give us time to talk.
Legendary. The studio
But,
behind the hit films Godzilla, King of the Monsters.
Pacific Rim Uprising. Inception.
Okay, I believe the first shot is the one of Timmy looking pensively in the desert.
Yeah.
You know, Denis Villeneuve always has like his main character looking pensively at a distance.
I know, and I love it so much. And you know what's absolutely hilarious is I saw a thing on here. Let me I pause the trailer because this is funny.
That's fine.
There's this thing. I saw someone on Twitter is like, I feel like I've seen this shot before, and there's actually a shot from a Harry Styles music video that's literally the exact same, and he's wearing like the similar kind of collared black attire, and it's like it's got like the same kind of sand blowing around. It's so funny.
That's hilarious.
And I'm like, oh my god, is this my Dunkirk universe that I finally get to connect?
Wow.
At last.
Oh, man. This is really cool to see. It's like seeing a vision of her or something.
I don't know, because I'm about halfway through the book, right? And I have not met her character yet. Okay, I'm not halfway, but I'm getting close.
Yeah. It seems.
I know, like she said that she's not going to be in the first one as much, so I'm betting on that she's not showing up until 3/4 through the movie, unless it's visions, which I think because this is probably in the beginning here.
I mean, I like it a lot. It reminded me of like the Force bond between Rey and Kylo in The Last Jedi a little bit.
When I saw this moment in the trailer, I was immediately flashing back to Twitter when Timothy was wishing Zendaya happy birthday, like the most passionate happy birthday ever, and she was just like, "Thanks, buddy." God.
The last shot we got.
That was her home planet in the last shot, right? Or
no.
Was it Arrakis? Oh, okay.
It was Arrakis.
This is our IMAX exclusive look.
Yeah. This is on Caladan right now. Caladan is their home planet.
Caladan and Arrakis, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Sure. You can tell me anything, I'll believe it.
Yeah.
There he is.
Best director of the
Denis
21st
Villeneuve.
century, right there.
Denis Villeneuve, director of Sicario and Prisoners.
Oh my God.
What if he's watching our video right now? So is this Caladan too, or whatever you just said?
I think it. I can't tell honestly with the little.
That was a great shot, though.
Yeah, but this box scene in the book, let me just say, is just fascinating. So basically, this girl here, I won't get into any details, but this girl here and his mom, Rebecca Ferguson, they're what they're call them Bene Gesserits, and basically they're like kind of like very trained and have very like specific sense in their mind to like they can read people very, very articulately, and they can like kind of they're just very present in every situation, and they can just like read the most subtle nods of anybody's body language. So they're very like very helpful politically because you can like read people, and basically his mom has kind of passed down those Bene Gesserit skills to Paul.
Interesting. I did not see this coming. Like this whole, I don't know what
the little phaser shields.
Oh, okay. I was wondering.
So
if
it's a
like
shield. Okay.
Body armor.
It's a shield. They have like shield belts, and like you saw one on that's Gurney. He's like
Josh
one
Brolin.
of the one of the Duke's Oscar Isaac's main like guard people.
Okay.
But they have like this tech, and it's interesting because they're just like so known to be. See, this one Gurney activates on his hand.
I was noticing like in their like close combat, like when the knife is like at his like ribs, like it turns red instead of blue. I don't know if that means anything. But...
Oh
yeah,
like
vital point or something. It's a good detail. Yeah.
Like I thought it enhanced his speed or something because he's very fast and skilled. I'm like, is that just inherently him?
Yeah, and honestly, I think it's a little bit of see that like red right there.
Yeah.
But this is his last day on Earth or his planet.
Last day on Caladan. Yeah.
Are they? Is Earth even in existence in this universe?
Probably
I
not.
don't know. I don't think so.
A long
But
time.
anyways,
ago.
the cool thing about the shields is they get to Arrakis, right? And like, shield. I don't want to say specifically why shields are bad, but you probably have an idea. I'll just say that they, give off a certain thing, and they might attract a certain creature, and not good. But that's all I'll say about that. And so basically, they're kind of vulnerable.
This is
on Arrakis
interesting
because
right there. Is like is there trouble
their
in paradise?
relationship
Yeah.
is fascinating.
Is there trouble in paradise? Like, what's going on there?
In this thing, we're probably gonna get to this place.
Yeah,
And it
Rebecca
looks
Ferguson.
like
I think
paradise.
that's right.
Yeah, that's Rebecca Ferguson, and that's of course Oscar Isaac as Duke
damn it.
Leo.
Dude, seeing him here, I already feel like I'm watching episode 10.
It's crazy.
Oh my god! Yeah, it totally looks like it's just like weathered Poe Dameron.
Fantastic shot.
Knowing what's happening at this moment in the book, like they're like going out to like check because spice is a big thing in the book. So they're going out to check like the spice operations. I won't give any of the context behind it, but
I thought
they're
this was
going
like
out into
them
the
just
desert.
coming into the planet. Okay.
No, that's them going out and for the first time, like truly look at the planet and stuff.
I wasn't expecting this friendshipness with Jason Momoa's character.
Me neither. It was very interesting.
Yeah, Duncan Idaho. That's his character's name. Is like another kind of fighter guy.
Now, are these all the good people right here? Or are these bad people?
Dave Bautista is that's bad. That's Stellan Skarsgård as
His voice. I'm just it's great.
As the Harkonnen guy. He's evil.
Main villain. Yeah.
So basically, the Atreides family, which is Rebecca Ferguson, Timmy Chalamet, Oscar Isaac, they're direct rivals with the Harkonnens, and that's kind
Who's
of
that right there?
Are we gonna
These are the Sardaukar soldiers, I believe, which are like sent by the actual higher up emperor. I don't want to give away more than that, but there's a higher up emperor.
Good indeed.
Yeah.
Are we gonna have like
It's
a
crazy.
sci-fi? Are we gonna have like an intense sci-fi Romeo and Juliet type deal going on?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
I don't know. I haven't really got the hinted romance and kind of attraction that we saw earlier in the trailer. But yeah, there's so many like main groups.
There's so many. So are these all different groups? I don't know.
Yeah. Well, okay. So I'll just say there's a big
death. So
yeah, he's dead right there, right?
That red glow is death. All right.
Let me just pause on this like battle sequence.
Yeah, let's go back a little bit.
This is so cool. You do this.
So this
There's some definitely Hallows shit.
Always wanted to use that spell.
Oh yeah, he decapitates him. Totally attack.
Yeah, a red glow. Like I don't know how you pierce the.
So they are using shields like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe
inside,
it's only like maybe it only defends so much. I don't know.
Yeah, I think I kind of described it in the book because there's kind of like a tolerance to it, like it's only going to protect you from so much force for a period of time.
Mm-hmm. I like how it's undercut with this whole speech with the lady here. I like that.
Yeah.
And of course, we get the Zendaya shot again.
Yeah.
I think the character's name is Chani, I believe is her character's name. I haven't met her yet in the book, but
oh wow.
There's so much like I'm so curious how they play off because there's gonna be a lot of like political intrigue that there's a lot of just like political fallout that just leads to just like these big action scenes, and I'm so excited to see that like on the screen. Like here you can just see a taste of it.
Yeah. Very Blade Runner, yeah, Nathan.
Wow. You just see flames down in the
I could see this from the big screen, guys. Holy crap!
Oh my! And it was shot with IMAX cameras, so I'm
yeah.
See, like this all this war and battle.
Yeah, it's crazy because
who's that?
All of this is in the first. That's Stellan Skarsgård.
Oh, this is all the first half of the book.
Yeah, which is crazy, and I haven't even got to like the halfway point of the book, like like the climax of the halfway point. And like, there's still just so much craziness happening, and I'm just like, oh my god.
Clean-shaven Jason Momoa is not what I'm used to.
It's so
that shot is
that is sick. A whirlpool.
So that's a worm, right?
Yeah,
that's a Sarlacc pit.
This is right after that scene that I told you about. When they're standing in the doorway. This is like they're
really? Okay.
Yeah. So they like go out in the desert.
Okay.
Spoiler? No, okay.
No. Okay. And this thing is like a spice. Gets the spice out of the earth.
Oh,
But
And
it's inside of a worm.
I know, because the worm, they have like spotters, and like the worms, like they call it worm sign. And so when you know that shot later in the trailer where it's like the shots of the shaking, it's called worm sign, where you can see like the little shakiness in the earth, I guess. But they have these spotters, and they have to have these giant like vessels come down and pull the entire spicing operation out of the ground for the worms to pass, and then they put it back down to mine the spice. But obviously, in this instance, things don't go as planned.
Yeah.
Yeah, I won't say any more than that, but it's just crazy.
Just
like,
looking at that creature,
this.
oh my god! Like,
it's terrifying.
I always I I didn't see the old Dune movie, but I've always seen images and everything. But seeing this in action, I'm just shocked, and it looks incredible.
It just blows out of the water.
Yeah. Wow.
It's definitely a unique.
Like how
get that look.
How wide is this thing? Like a football field long?
It looks smaller.
Well, the end. So, honestly, so like a big oil rig that digs for oil. That's the best size reference I probably could give you.
And we've seen the Asian guy twice now. Is he the doctor?
Yes, he's Dr. Yui. He's one of the doctors for the Atreides family. And yeah, I can't say anymore.
This intrigue, man. This is gonna be a deep movie.
This is Stilgar. So the people with the blue eyes, by the way, are called Fremen. They're natives to Arrakis, and so that's where that's kind of coming from. I have no idea what this is.
Right here. Can you pause that? Go back.
Yeah, looks so cool.
These set designs and costuming are gorgeous.
And yeah, hearing the Q&A, I guess I watched it after the trailer, but basically, here we go. Denise said they used Timmy said they used 2 green screen shots or 2 green screen scenes or whatever. At least for
only 2 throughout the whole film.
Yeah, I think he said throughout the entire film because it was in that little interview thing, and Timmy was like, I keep saying Timmy now because of Carson.
Timothy Chalamet.
Timothy said that, he said, because I think Stephen Colbert asked him, how was it like shooting with Denis? And he was like, yeah, there was only 2 green screens that was ever in front of him throughout the entire filming process. And this shot there, it looks like an aerial shot.
I feel like they could practical this.
What?
I feel like this could be practical.
It's possible. Yeah, I'm not sure.
It kind of looks like maybe a miniature little set down there. That's what it kind of looks like to me.
Oh, like a miniature set. Yeah, I guess.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's just so much. Yeah, there's an explosion. I don't even know where this is really on the. I don't even know what that ship is.
Total Star Wars shot.
I gotta make a Force Awakens style cover.
And that's the thing too, guys. There's there's obviously the interplanetary stuff going on because all these people are from different places. And so maybe later in the book there's a space battle. I have no idea. So we could get space action. I mean, look at just the taste of this.
Wow.
They're flying through a sandstorm here. Just crazy.
And I hear this is the spice.
This is the spice.
I assumed it was sand, but if it is spice.
Oh, is that spice or sand?
Well, it looks like that.
You can kind of see you can see the red. Here, I'll pause it. You can see the red traces.
Oh, okay.
And it's incorporated basically everywhere in there. I guess the ecosystem of Arrakis, their food, their, for money, for. Let's see if I can go frame. Yeah, you can kind of see the red kind of fades out there.
It's more prominent.
But the most valuable thing about Arrakis is water, and there's a lot of cool stuff about sacrifices for water, and a lot of we have to get water.
This I wasn't just trying to pick off the context because it seems like there's some royal family hierarchy stuff going on. I feel like, and I don't know if maybe the original ruler, like maybe his father is like gone and he's pledging his service there. I don't know.
Mm.
Because he was like really buddy chummy later, but now it's just like our leader. I don't know.
This was insane right here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's terrifying.
Yeah, Nathan.
It's super terrifying.
Nathan, I can't really answer you because I don't want to say anything about that last point.
Confirmed. No, I got you.
Wow.
Look, that is terrifying.
Look
That's
at the
like
sand.
I'm already afraid of the ocean, but if you make land like
It's
the
literally a
ocean,
tidal wave of sand. Like, how terrifying is that?
and that's just a giant whale.
It reminds
size.
me of the shots on Jakku when the Star Destroyers are like sitting there, but like moving.
Yeah, it's like if the sinking fields that blow up had actual creatures.
I can't wait to listen to this sequence with Hans Zimmer's score behind it.
Oh my
Oh my
yeah.
god.
Who is that? So that's Jason Momoa, Timothy, and is that it?
It should be Rebecca Ferguson, I think.
I thought that was Javier
So,
for a second.
I don't know if you noticed like the costumes throughout this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They have these things called still suits,
Look at that.
which
Freeze that.
I'll just leave it. I'll just leave it on that one. Talking about
Yeah.
this, it's just crazy.
God.
They have these things called
eyes.
still suits, and you see earlier in the trailer they have like the nose plugs, right? And so basically, I talked about how important water is. These suits are designed to repurpose their sweat to get water back into their system, and they actually like little drinking things. And so,
Oh, wow.
because the climate is so harsh on Arrakis, they had to have these suits to basically repurpose their water throughout the day. And I think there's a line in the book that like you can lose only about a drop of water if you have a proper still suit. But obviously, there's some things if you don't have a still suit that go wrong in this book. But yeah, the costume design is just crazy. Like I think someone from Star Wars on it, or maybe it was art direction or costume design worked on
I
it.
think it was art director, maybe.
But let me try to go back to find one of the still suit shots.
There's so many different suits, like because all the different like Freemen and then other people.
Yeah, and then the Atreides, which is
Yeah.
and then the Harkonnens, basically the big bad guys.
Mhm.
So I think they're wearing still suits here, but they're under like armor.
Okay.
Nice.
Looks
It's crazy
very
how
good.
we burned through like this 3-minute trailer.
No, it's like just so easy to talk about. I think
Where's the shot of like when Zendaya was coming in?
oh, in the beginning.
No, in the suit you're talking about, I think.
Oh,
like-
like
yeah,
wait,
trying
Like
to
after Timothy arrives.
yeah, when she's with Javier Bardem and them, like she comes in and he's like
Yeah.
pointing a gun at her
Yeah.
or something like that. It's like towards the middle of the trailer.
I've given the wrong
Sorry, one
job to
second.
person.
I know. Oh wait, it's like right here, isn't it? No, it's in the middle.
No,
of the
it's
trailer.
later. It's like in the middle.
I don't know where it
I think
is,
it was-
guys. Oh, I found.
Yeah.
I just saw it.
Yeah.
Little
Yes,
bit before,
that's still
there's it.
there. You
there.
go.
Yes.
So you can see like the little plug side on your nose there.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
That's a
descriptions
great
in the book
suit
about
design,
like.
too.
So is this just like
Yeah,
a
it's
market
like-
where everybody buys those same things, or
Yeah, or you have to like, I don't know if you have to build them or but like, it's very important to have a still suit, and the Fremen, I guess, know it best because they actually live out in the deserts. So, this is their life is these suits. So it's pretty crazy.
so is every single Fremen like imbued with spice because they have the blue eyes or something?
Yes, I want to say yes for now, but also I don't know because I've seen some different things, but I think those are like spoilers for later on. I'm not sure fully how true that is, but yeah, at least from what I've read so far, basically that's the description has been. They're imbued with spice because that's been their life on Arrakis, as they've consumed so much spice that their eyes are so a rich blue.
Now, what is this spice?
I don't know yet. It's basically
Drug?
like the commodity that everybody needs.
Is Oscar Isaac once again a spice runner? Please don't.
No,
Oh God, way too soon.
that would be horrible.
Oh man. Oh.
But
I
yeah,
think-
there's just
I
so much
think-
to talk about.
I think Edgar was saying it's like such a high sought after compound, like the gasoline of the universe.
Yeah, think about like the how the Empire was just so sought after, like Kuiper to power the
Yeah.
Death Star.
Which when I apply that to like what I'm seeing here for Dune, it's what I'm kind of picturing what the High Republic storyline with the hyper drive thing is going to be. So that'd be
Interesting comparison. Yeah.
Denny just like made a High Republic Star Wars movie before anybody even had a chance. But
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's seriously, and just Greg Fraser's cinematography, it just looks so good.
Beautiful. I know people were complaining like it's very like black, gray, and then shots of orange, but
what a desert, man.
I'm gonna play this back slightly faster.
like I'm very
Play it like
curious to see what
two
I'm very curious to see what the relationship is between him and
Look at that.
Zendaya's Chani.
Yeah,
Because they never met each other. They're from two different planets. I'm like, what's the connection there? What's going on?
yeah,
That's
I have
intriguing.
no idea,
The set design is insane. Seriously.
Super insane.
and I don't really want to say like because I know a little bit about like Paul's journey, but I really don't want to give anything away for you guys because it's
Yeah.
really interesting, the transition of everything that happens in his mind.
I hope we do get that, like a lot of internal thoughts from him, or somehow.
Yeah,
Or just
which the
maybe
book very much is that. So I wonder if this will have any narration at all. I'm curious.
That's a difficult thing, right? Because a lot of like these kind of books have strong internal narration from the characters. Like, how do you,
especially Lady Jessica, Rebecca Ferguson's character, and Timothy Chalamet's character have a lot of like internal back and forth.
Well, they definitely have it in the trailer.
Right. But honestly, I think their presence can, sell it enough. And I'm sure they probably added some stuff in the screenplay that kind of hints at.
Yeah, I'm very confident in terms of screenplay. Like Eric Roth, who adapted like the Arrival short story, also did this as well. So
yeah,
very, very confident.
Yeah, and this is just some art.
That shot is crazy.
Yeah. And just these fire of the vehicles. There's just so much. I love this shot. Like it looks like he's floating down. Like it's crazy.
It's like 0G. So good. Was that Javier there in the mask?
I thought it was Jason.
No, yeah, I think it was Jason.
Well, I don't know because they showed Jason again unmasked, so like right after in different costume. So I don't know.
Gosh, I can't get over that shot of
what a shot, dude.
The sun.
Perfect.
So cool.
Yeah, I've seen you before.
And I'm
so
like,
on your shot. Oh God, come on!
Wow, look at that dragonfly ship.
I know.
I can't. Apparently, Stellan Skarsgård did 8-hour makeup just to get into this character, which I'm just like, that is insane.
That's exciting. Yeah.
Well done.
Man, oh God.
I know, dude. The worm. I love the design of the the helicopter-looking vehicles. I forget what they're called. But they look like dragonflies to me, at least, and there's like such a cool design.
Man, Zendaya, I can't get over it. Perfect casting.
Zendaya has literally all the best shots.
It's crazy. Right?
Isn't that hilarious?
Like they knew.
Here's 5 shots of me, but like it'll make it.
I could just play this trailer on repeat forever. Like it's so cool.
God, imagine I need to see this on the big screen. This trailer.
Oh, dude!
Oh my God! Yeah.
I don't know if like I have to wait till like Wonder Woman to see.
That's what I'm thinking. Like, do we have to wait till Wonder Woman in October to see this in big screen?
Which is potentially being pushed, maybe.
Oh yeah, I guess we could talk about that.
We gotta talk. It would be devastating if they just put this trailer and they're like, "We're moving to December 2021." I would be
like Dark Phoenix.
Oh gosh! Somebody asked me yesterday, like, what are the odds that they're going to put a release date next to the trailer? I'm like, I think they didn't. Possible, and I was wrong. They didn't.
Yeah, I didn't check that. I wasn't sure if they did or not.
That was the first. Yeah. It just like coming to theaters.
The title as well, dude. Like just
only in theaters.
They did the classic only in theaters that everyone's doing right now.
The title though is just—it's so beautiful the way it just opens up with the lettering.
I agree.
I love how it cuts. It cuts from the worm circle mouth, right to the.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
See, the shape, and then Boom.
Is that supposed to be like a black hole or an eclipse?
It kind of does look like an eclipse.
Yeah,
I'm not sure in the significance of that.
See, I'm very curious about the worms. Like, are those like the sharks of the universe, or like I've seen a lot of concept art where people are like on top of worms sometimes. Like, is that a
And
thing?
see,
Like,
right now they're still so mysterious to me because they've only shown up a handful of times, and like Edgar keeps teasing in our group chat, like, "Hey, they're gonna show up later, and you're gonna see all this stuff."
I think he was saying it was like the environment fighting back against like the mining of the spice.
oh snap! Sounds interesting.
Yeah, that's what I was kind of saying too. Like, basically, where the spice goes, the worms always go, and that's kind of what the vibe I get from the book right now. And I don't necessarily know the internal connection of like, okay, do they produce the spice, or like are they essential to like creating the spice somehow? I don't really know the context of that, but it's just so interesting.
Kessel Run?
Everyone's trying to control this spice.
Yeah. I mean, so you say everyone's trying to control the spice. The spice is on Arrakis, which is now owned by Oscar Isaac's character?
Their family, yes.
So who's fighting over it?
I think Timothy's father.
The Harkonnens, the bad guys in this, abandoned Arrakis. Essentially, that's why they're going here. Is because I haven't learned why. They haven't. The Harkonnen bad guy people, Stellan Skarsgård, and all those people. They were originally there. They had ruled over there for a long period of time, and then I think just due to like the harsh conditions and just the overall
worms
investment of like trying to get everything against the worms and trying to get the spice, it was just hard to make a profit, and so I think they abandoned it. And then it was the Fremen there for a while, and then now the Atreides family is coming in and trying to, turn a profit with everything. But yeah.
Yeah, it was fascinating to me because I was like, in the beginning of the trailer, it said how, like Oscar Isaac, like, or his character, Duke or something, was doing kind of like not good, I guess, on Caladan, and then like he's forced to go over here to Arrakis. Like, is this a punishment, or is he trying to do better here? He's trying to rule better.
Yeah, I think, kind of the vibe is, because there's this ongoing feud between the Harkonnens and the Atreides. It's basically trying to garner resources, and as you watch this trailer, you realize how important the Fremen are, and Fremen are actually really, really good fighters too. And so
whoever gets
that
on
could be an advantage towards arming themselves against the Harkonnen, essentially, as well as the economic benefits of the spice and all that. So there's so many interesting political angles in this, and I'm so excited for you guys to see certain moments of like, I don't want to compare it to Game of Thrones, but it very much has some of those like quiet, like just sitting there standoffs of just like the people just talking in a room, and it's like trying to like out each other mentally, and it's
the taxation of trade routes. No,
right, I know, but it's like tense.
But right, I mean, we need that. A good political sci-fi, I think, is a great opportunity.
And again, Denis is very good at that. Like, he does a lot of very like interior closed off shots with great tension, like in Arrival, with the amount of scenes between Forrest Whitaker and Amy Adams is arguing about how to communicate with the aliens. It's like, no, we need to do this first. We need to ask them, like,
stop using violence, man.
Yeah, it's like we shouldn't start off with a question. We start off with like, what are you? What are we? We're humans, stuff like that. Human is the first word that we need to tell them to learn.
Very introspective in that way.
Yeah, and then same thing for Prisoners. Like, the amount of scene between Hugh Jackman and Jake Gyllenhaal in a car, just like arguing with each other.
Yeah.
So,
I still need to watch Prisoners. I'm just not in the mindset.
Oh yeah,
you got to get in the mindset.
It's a heavy movie. It's a heavy. Yeah, you can't just go. It's not a Wednesday night movie where you're just like, all right, I'm gonna pop on Prisoners. It's like, okay, I'm gonna give myself 2 days, mentally prepare myself. It's hype myself up.
It's Sunday, the weekend's over. I'm already sad. Let's get sad.
Yeah.
Sometimes it just be like that.
And then Enemy too. Enemy is a lot of like just discussions, tense discussions.
I hadn't I had the plot of Enemy spoiled for me, and I don't think
Ah,
I need that in my life. I am, it will
Dang.
break my soul. But
that's
yeah,
tragic.
But yeah, I'm excited to. I'm just the only thing I'm worried about is this doesn't make enough money to make the second one. But I
The
think
second
they've
one
already
I
committed.
think this one has enough attention to do so.
I think
But
so
it
too.
blew up on Twitter today before it was
Yeah.
even the trailer dropped. It was trending, like it was big.
Like if you look back
So
on like 2049, which I was like one of 5 people that actually went to the opening night screening, which I'm so sad, man, because it's so good. It's one of my, it's still the best looking film I've ever seen.
It's a perfect movie. Yes, I agree.
So good.
I didn't see it opening night on Thursday. I saw it Saturday on like IMAX with my dad, and even then it was just like an empty theater. Like my brother, my dad, and a couple other people. It was depressing.
I'm bummed, man, because even like the day before, they had like one re-release screening of the original Blade Runner, and then the following day, I went Thursday IMAX. I was so mesmerized. I was just like, I came home, I just put on the soundtrack and just like laid there thinking.
So good. Yeah, I'm with you, Carson. I hope that WB commits to letting Denis do this, even though if it's a financial bomb, it wouldn't be financially viable for them to continue it. But I'm just thinking, like, right now, I think it's a great release date, and this was a great first trailer. For people like me who don't know the book, don't know the lore, it still entices me. I'm still very intrigued. Of course, I'm a Denis Villeneuve fan. I'm a movie fan, so I'm kind of already bought in. But for people like my dad or my friends at work who aren't interested, I think this still can hook people with the allure of the world itself. Like, oh, crazy worm creatures, people fighting, different groups fighting, great cast, like Jason Momoa from Game of Thrones.
I feel like especially the cast is what's probably going to lock in the most.
Yeah, and especially
popularity.
Zendaya and Timmy too. Like, people,
Yeah, they've
the
been
poll
like
is insane.
everybody in the cast has been so built up with the repertoire by this point.
Yeah.
But that being said, guys, we kind of have some of the first week numbers of Tenet. And
Not great.
not great, but that was
Not bad
Warner
either.
Brothers, I guess, always knew that they wanted to play the long game with Tenet and just kind of let it simmer out and, get 10 million, 5 million every kind of week, just build up that box office. With that being said, do you think now today's rumors of like, hey, we don't want to interfere with, Tenet having that long run of, potentially all the way through December, or even just past Wonder Woman. Do you think it's still, too much of a risk to drop this in December, even with this hype of the trailer and everything going for it?
I feel like they would have had a better long game with Wonder Woman than Tenet, if I were to be honest. Because I don't think Tenet's necessarily the film that's like going to have such a longevity for the public.
I agree,
Yeah.
especially after seeing the movie. It made 20 million this weekend, including Monday, and previews. So I think I don't know if people are going to. I don't know. I'm very curious to see the drop off this weekend.
Yeah,
I don't.
It's holding
think
well internationally.
Internationally,
that's
yeah.
different.
China did okay. Internationally, is doing really good. I don't know. I think I'm predicting like 10 million this weekend for the 3 days. Like, I don't see Wonder Woman hindering the legs on Tenet. I think it has all of September to do business, and then it hits that brick wall, which is Wonder Woman in October 2nd. And even Wonder Woman hits the brick wall of Black Widow November 6th, like the first week of November.
Yep.
Everybody's got like a month, basically.
So each movie has like a month. Like, yeah, so like Tenet gets a month, Wonder Woman gets a month. I don't know what else is coming in October that's going to be competing with Wonder Woman.
And that's crazy, too, just the thought of, like, you only basically have a month of prime time to make money, but also your theaters are at 30% capacity.
But a month is pretty good compared in like this day and age
compared to normal
like,
days. Yeah,
normal you get 2 weekends, and granted, there's more people going to the movie theaters compared to a pandemic right now.
Releases too. Like,
yeah, usually there's a ton more releases, but again, that's offset by a lot of people are going to the movie theaters in a normal environment. I don't know.
I think it's gonna. We're at to watch, the next few weeks. Honestly, Tenet, and obviously they're very different movies, but I think they both have a certain pull in a different way. You know, Christopher Nolan has a huge pull. The audience is obviously.
Do you think
In this, I feel like.
Do you think more studios will follow the Universal route of like a set amount of days before just going to the paid VOD like coherently next year?
I'd be curious. I don't think with the big moves that's viable for them. But that being said,
happen.
Like, I still think we'll see change ups in 2021 about it differently.
Was somebody
with
saying that
smaller
Mulan
studios
outperformed Tenet?
Say what?
Was somebody saying that Mulan outperformed Tenet on?
I don't think it.
We don't really know the numbers yet.
Yeah,
I saw one article saying that a rough estimate would put like the amount of like, just the way that the Disney Plus traffic, how much it increased. That it would put Mulan at like a 33 million weekend opening.
Yeah.
Which does put it over 10's week, and you have to remember that they keep all that because they're not siphoning off, that they're cut to theaters because that's direct revenue from those pay-per-views. But again, we don't know how Mulan's going to hold either, or if they're even going to release official numbers because it's so different.
Yeah. And Mulan seems like a kind of movie that would have even a worse drop off compared to Tenet next weekend because everybody that wanted to see it saw it this weekend. But I don't see a lot more people being like, "Oh, the buzz is great, so we got to watch it again next weekend. Pay another $30."
Yeah, no, they'll just wait the 3 months to
exactly, which is so widely known now that you just got to wait till December, which is a normal thing for most movies, anyways.
Right.
Like most movies get the 90 days in a normal time span. Even Tenet will probably be in DVD and rentals in December.
By Christmas, probably, yeah.
Yeah. The thing
Maybe,
about Mulan, though, Mulan is just going to be free. That's the important thing. It's like Mulan is just not going to be able to rent. You're going to be able to get it for free on Disney Plus.
Both instances of Mulan, you either way have to have a Disney Plus subscription. So.
Yep. Good point. So I think that helps the Disney Plus subscription more than it helps like the proposed box office for Mulan for Disney.
Yeah, so you can either pay $36 right now if you don't have a membership, or just pay your $6 membership in a few months from now.
Yep.
Or a free trial.
And I don't know if we want to move into the Mulan topic next, but there also has been a bunch of backlash and
that was
disappointment about it.
That was a big thing too. I was actually I think I even said like last week I was set to like since it's released online, I was set to like sit down in my setup and do a reaction to it, which I thought would be fun. But then my friend was like, "Wait, no, don't." There's a big boycott right now. Like, oh, okay.
It's not a big boycott. I think it's mostly like film Twitter boycott kind of thing.
Sure, but it was still knowing that situation. Like watching today, I was just like, I can't.
Yeah. I see what you're saying. But before we go into Mulan, I just want to say, like, I think in terms of Dune, I do not think they would delay Dune to like a summer 2021 or December 2021. Because right now, I think this is like a great release date for Dune. Like next summer is going to be jam-packed, crowded. And I think Dune will get obliterated in the summer. And next December, if they are still doing Black Adam for December, Black Adam would like overcrowd everything in December, the same way Aquaman kind of did last December. Even though Aquaman did do well compared to like having Bumblebee, Spider-Man, etc. So there could be cross-pollination, but those
have a virus.
Yeah.
That's like the big factor. It's interesting though, because like it seems like everything's stacking up to next year that we're gonna have everything settled. Like I noticed that too, even when I'm just like listening to my music online, I'll like see an advertisement right under for like summer concert releases for 2021. I'm like, oh, okay, so we're going back into full swing, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy to think about, and like honestly, the more I think about it, I think it's still gonna come out in December because there's just nowhere else to put it in 2021 that I think is as viable as it is now. As scary as that is to say with like all the restrictions right now. Even with that, I still don't think there's a place as viable as the current release date.
I agree. Yep.
But how will how would it work? I'm worried for its financial legs, just with the whole theater
Can
restrictions.
you imagine?
And also,
Out hilarious numbers.
And I guarantee it's probably going to have a pretty lengthy runtime as well. So
yeah, but it's going to be that big Star Wars Christmas release date. We can't underestimate that.
Yeah,
that Christmas
we can't underestimate that.
That Christmas week where people are just like, we're a Monday, we're a Tuesday, we're a Wednesday, is the same as a weekend box office. Like, that's going to be huge. And there's no other competition now because Top Gun moved away. I think right now, I keep having to double check. I think like Coming to America 2 is same day, which might hit Netflix at this point. It seems like more of a Netflix kind of thing. And Free Guy is coming out the week prior.
Is anything in September?
September? No, nothing in September.
Free Guy moved. I'm pretty sure.
Free Guy moved?
I'm pretty sure it moved to 2021. I could be wrong.
To look that up.
What you snacking on?
Mac and cheese.
It says Free Guy July 2020. I'm like, that's a lie. Why?
July?
Ryan Reynolds.
No, it moved to December, but
Maybe it is still December.
that was funny though. I remember like as soon as that news broke, like I'm pretty sure it was Carson who was just like, "You better not ruin Dune's box office." Oh man.
Yeah, so it says December 11th on Wikipedia at least. But yeah, let's dive into Mulan first since we're already talking about it.
All right, and just for anybody that pops in, we got a little banner warning.
Wheel.
Hooray! All right, so this is. I think we all saw this at like varying degrees of time. I saw it like. I finished about like an hour ago, an hour and a half.
Nice.
For the first.
And you've already forgot everything.
Okay, I mean it's I don't know who wants to go.
I'll go first.
Okay.
Because I finished watching it and I was trying to create my Twitter reaction, tweet, post, whatever.
Tweet now watch.
Yeah, after I finished it. And I was about to say, like, I say the same thing to all these Disney live action remakes, at least to most of them. Because I literally, like, most of my tweet is very much the same as what I said for, especially The Lion King, whereas like, it's like similar. Lion King was more of a, I didn't like it because it was so similar to the other one and it didn't have any of the magic of the original. Like they tried to do so much to make it seem like it was like the Lion King that you love, but it didn't have any of the magic of that. And it just felt very bland to me. This one was also very bland, but it's kind of strayed away from what made Mulan so magical. Like, and I say this like, I say that it didn't have the magic of the animated series or animated movie, but it did incorporate more magic than the animated movie. It's kind of hard to explain there because
honestly, the original Mulan isn't like overtly like only done in animation. It's very like realistically animated, I'd say.
Yeah, realistically animated, and like the only like in movie magic is like there's ghosts.
And like dragon.
In Dragon, yeah, that's pretty much it. Like in this one, though, off the bat, the first lines they talk about this thing called Chi,
and I like Chi in other media.
Me too. Like from like
I think Aang has Chi, doesn't he? And chakras.
Chakra, it's chakra in Avatar. I think maybe it does, but I think there's like this one show, like Jackie Chan Adventures or something like that. Yeah, I think Chi was using that. I don't know what they were going for here, guys. I do not know.
Dude, there's so much Star Wars references in this movie. I was noticing. I was like, hang on, and some of them not in the best way.
Not in the best way, Nathan. Yeah, you're right.
It's so awkward.
Yes.
Because all it does is just like force her in directions that's like, oh, you got to unlock your chi. I'm like, what?
It's very unlocked. I think she's just told to suppress it.
Can she not just like become the best version of herself or unlock herself? Like, why does it have to be power of chi? And then even Donnie Yen says it like you have to like it literally he says like don't underestimate his power or something. I'm like, what is this Kylo nonsense? And Adam Driver in a closet again. I'm like, what are you doing?
It was literally like her power was pinned down just because she's doing the plot of Mulan. which is weird.
Yeah, like everything that Mulan did in this one, the main character did in this one, except it was justified by chi, which is like there's no reason for that. There's no reason to justify.
You
how
already have the
strong or
justification
intellectual
of like defending your family and
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
You don't need a
And
further.
the main thing that I hated about it is it glosses over all the turning points in the movie because you don't feel any of the turning points are due to her own fruition, especially when she leaves. When they gloss over one of the most iconic scenes.
Let me say, this whole film is an interesting case because I was watching and it was like it's already longer than the original Mulan, but we speed past so much of the original story, and I'm like, what the how?
It was so weird for no reason. Like Carson said, I looked down on my phone for 1 second. Next thing I know, she's leaving her family. I'm like, wait. I was like, Mom, can you rewind it real quick? Like, did I miss an important scene here? It's like, no, it's just like cut to black and she's leaving. Basically,
Oh, it was like right away, just like she was like thinking about her father. She like grabs the sword and then boom, full armor out the door.
Yeah, I was like, I looked down at my phone because I was kind of bored already. 20 minutes in or 15 minutes in, I'm like, okay, and then boom, she's leaving. I'm like, oh wow, like okay, I guess.
Yeah, there was no haircut, no like reflection, anything.
Not at all. Oh, and speaking of her father, though, I would say, like, I think the best part about this movie was her relationship with her father. I think that was mined pretty well. I liked her dynamic. The father, he's a great actor in general. I love him in mostly everything.
He was fantastic.
Yeah,
he was
did
great in
everything
this
he could. Yeah.
Yeah, he did everything he could.
Honestly, the opening, I'd actually be down for this type of story. I think if it wasn't supposed to be Mulan, but the fact that it is makes it weird.
That's the thing for most of these movies. Like, if you weren't trying to be a remake of something, it could have been something special.
The weird thing is, like, I personally like the Disney live action stuff. A lot of the time.
I like most of them. I like Aladdin a lot.
I like Aladdin a lot. I personally enjoy Beauty and the Beast quite a bit.
Me too.
Lion King, I totally get the criticisms, but it is very nice to look at. Yeah, I know.
Nice to look at.
All you prefer Mandalorian. Got to give it that. This one though, I'll look. Credit to this film. I think it looks very nice. I think
yes,
the way it's shot, just I like it's a visually gorgeous looking film, and I love.
They spent some money on this movie, especially those big buildings.
You okay? This is the thing. Like, yeah, they spent a lot of money on this movie, but my brother and I were talking about it. Like, there's only like a couple big sets in this movie. Like, you have the village, you have the training camp, you have the fight scene, and then you have like the Emperor's throne room area where they fight. I'm like, there's like the Pacific sets. It doesn't seem like there's a lot of like a space or environment, different unique environments in this movie. Even though everything looked cool, I didn't get the sense of scope that I got in the first one. Like, especially when they're having a whole training sequence, then they go up in the mountains and you hear that huge mountain like landscape within the avalanche.
It feels very boxed in.
Yes, Carson, that's what I'm looking for.
It was very like flat too, honestly. That
very flat and boxed in. It felt very like
it felt like the parallax. I'm going to use a Mandalorian. It felt like the parallax was off. It felt like I was looking at like a flat wall, green screen, but like not in the good way where we used to like it kind of having depth. It kind of just looked like it cut off for some reason.
Exactly. Thank you. That's what I was trying to say, but more eloquently than I did. But yeah, it felt very like flat.
It's so weird because I think most of the like padded runtime really comes down to the whole dynamic of the witch angle and stuff.
Let's talk about that. Yeah.
Yeah, which was interesting. I found it interesting that she wasn't like full villain in the sense of just like, yes, evil's fun. No, she actually like had the set reasons of like she's doing this just so she can be actually accepted somewhere and so. And I think that's a cool element.
I like that because it reminded me of Cersei in Game of Thrones. Cersei is a villain, which is a villain based off of the gender circumstances of Game of Thrones. Like, a lot of her evilness comes from being bogged down by the politics of her world. Like, she has to bow down to like the men just because they're men. And that's what makes Cersei so intriguing. And same thing for this one. It's like the witch was so bogged down by the politics of the world, similar to Mulan. But I just don't think that dynamic was mined to its full potential. Like, I see where they were going for, like, their dynamic. I'm like, I like it on paper. It just wasn't executed to what it could have been.
Yeah, that's totally
100%
fair.
agree. I
And
love
even to,
the. Oh, sorry, Nathan. Go ahead. You were
okay. I was actually like relieved because when the witch is like sitting on the throne toward the end, I honestly fully expected her to just go straight into being evil just for the sake of it. But I commend them that they didn't go that route and she like stuck to her guns to like lead Mulan where she needed to go.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, otherwise it's just straight up led into a Luke Vader death moment. But
Which didn't feel justified because again, I don't think the relationship was executed so well. It felt very sudden. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess he's doing this.
Yeah,
they met
it felt sudden.
So many like Luke Vader dynamics between the two as well. Like they had the whole like join me moment on top of the rock after the
Yeah.
thing. Oh my god.
Which let's talk about that. I really like the scene on the ice where she first kind of comes down because she's chasing the group, and then she shows up and she flies down, and then they have like a little fight.
I wasn't even sure where they were. Like I knew like
it completely changed setting.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about.
It happened so fast too. I don't know when she like went through the steam cloud or whatever because there was a whole charge of like the whole brigade. But like yeah, I didn't know where she was and I didn't know what she could potentially fall into, so I didn't feel a stake there. I was just like, all right, where are we going?
Yeah, I'm the same way. Like it felt very. Again, it looked cool, but just in terms of like trying to gain the sense of environment, sense of space, I was like, okay, where's this at? What's going on here? Very confusing.
But anyways, I like the dialogue in that scene of when she's first like, "Who are you?" and you're hiding, like you're a coward, like you're not hiding your true self. I love that scene. The scene I didn't like was the scene up on the rock where she when she gets exiled, and then they have that conversation. And she's like, all of a sudden, so imposed, like, go back. Like, it feels like very quick. All of a sudden, she's like, I must ride back and warn them about, like, it felt very quick to me. And I'm like, she just ran away. Like, it felt very awkward.
And she comes right back in. They're just like, oh, you're back?
Yeah.
Like, are we supposed to kill you now?
They checked their watches, like, oh, that was pretty fast. Like, what? It hasn't even been a day. Like, yeah,
it's literally
like
that
it's literally nightfall, and it was just sunrise.
And they're just all like they hear her out, and then you just have a full "I'm Spartacus" moment from the army.
But even before that, speaking of like things being so quick and development wise, like when she changed after that fight with the witch, when she like became Mulan and fought like in the snow and everything, I'm just like, it felt so sudden, and it didn't feel earned. It just didn't feel.
And
like
nobody saw her really. Nobody saw her like.
And that was another thing. I was messaging in the chat too. I was like, I really thought this was the final battle. I thought like this feels like a final battle moment reveal. No,
right. It's like the end of it's in the second act. It's like harder things halfway.
I guess we're like adapting the original, but that's another weird thing. Is like they go like all the way to like straight up the end of the like. Essentially the make a man out of you sequence of just the training montage and everything. And I looked at the runtime and it was just over 35 minutes of this almost 2-hour film. And I was like, how are we already here? And there's so much more.
Yeah. In the whole development with her and her friends felt the comedy, first of all, terrible. Comedy
horrible.
Interestingly, I was digging at least like the main dude more than Mulan. I don't know. Like this actress wasn't giving the best performance for me.
Not really, yeah.
How do I talk to a girl, Mulan? Oh, just talk like you're talking to me. Like, what?
Like, get out of here.
This feels
You're
wrong,
stinky,
though.
Mulan. Go take a bath.
How many times did you say she stinks? Like, oh, you should take a shower.
You really can't skip out on guard duty, Mulan. Go take a shower.
It's like,
so many times they're hammering home this the whole ideal of like having to bathe around these dudes, and I'm like, why do they keep playing this up so much? Why is this the need to adapt so? It's strung out more than the training. Like,
yeah, totally. It just felt so annoying. It got annoying after a while. It was like so unnecessary.
I feel bad too because
the one scene I did think was okay is when they're sitting at the table. And it was like, what is your ideal woman? And she's like, smart, diligent, or I can't remember what she says, but they have very much have cheesy over the top laughs, but I think it worked like structurally as a scene. Like, don't think of a girl just as for their looks. I thought that was okay. I thought their dynamic later on was fine. Kind of the payoff of that where he supports her, but it's still weird. Like it just
I
felt
didn't
like
why are you not diving into the romance of it all? Like, why are you not like focusing on the romance?
Yeah.
Is it even supposed to be the same character? Because wasn't it reported they just removed that character?
I think it was a different character, but it's kind of the same role, right? Where somebody appreciates Mulan. Like
it is, but at the same time, I feel like they took that original role and then like split it in two, and one's Donnie Yen's character and one's this guy. Like,
yeah,
it was weird. Yeah, I do want to say though, like it sucks for me to say like any of this because like I'm never such a negative person. Just in terms of the seriously, the main actress of Mulan, like I wasn't her sister that barely has any lines. I got more emotion from her than Mulan was giving a lot of the time.
It's funny.
It's a very stoic performance, I guess, but
because they have a line literally in the beginning of the movie where she's like, "This is my happy face. This is my sarcastic face." Because they're all dressed up in makeup, about to go to the matchmaker.
But you're not in the makeup.
Oh
anymore,
no,
man. You are.
Oh no, because it totally just points at. It just feels it wasn't very emotive, which was fine, but like I still got what they were going for with the performance. But again, I feel like I would have been sold more on it if like we had more of a powerhouse performance like during that time that she puts the armor on, and just like during those small moments that need to be big performance moments.
I agree, which angers a lot of these Disney live action remakes. Like Emma Watson was fantastic in Beauty and the Beast, and especially in Aladdin. I loved Mina Massoud and the Jasmine actress. I forget her name right now. Naomi Scott. Like those two like angered why I love the Aladdin live action movie a lot, because like those are some very believable and like emotive performances there. Just not the same thing here from Mulan. It's just like again on paper, like I can kind of see it, but just it wasn't executed that well.
Yeah, man. I think going in, I was primarily most hyped to see Donnie Yen because I'm such a fan of his.
Mm-hmm.
And even like from the get go, he does like a couple of cool sword moves. And I'm like, oh, dope. But like that was about it. And I was like, okay.
Just showing off.
Yeah, and of course the feature like 2 days before it comes out. The absolute pleasure to work with Donnie Yen. He gets on set and he just starts doing things, and like one scene of him doing that.
I need to go watch Hitman 4 because that came out this year.
I do too. It's on Vudu, I think.
Yeah, I bought them all. I think they're on Netflix as well.
Oh wow,
that's.
But yeah, because
Donnie Yen's good though. I would say. Films. I like the scene in the hut where they're talking just about like. It'd be a great honor for you to, marry my son or whatever. And she's like, or marry my daughter. And she's like, oh.
That's not the norm of this time period.
Anyway. How did you guys like the third act, though? Like the whole fight between, I forget the main villain's name, whatever, but like in that bamboo place at the end with the Emperor catching the arrow and everything. And
well, that was an interesting thing because I was spoiled by Twitter like instantaneously of like the Phoenix shot, which is I really like that shot.
Me too. I saw that shot too.
But like Jesus, film Twitter, settle down. It just dropped. Other than that, though, it was all right. Like as like she lost the sword, I was like, okay, what's gonna be her plan with this chi power up? And she's kind of just doing flips, and she doesn't know she's gonna get a bamboo staff to fight with. It's just kind of flows, and I'm just like, what is your plan? Okay. That worked out, but it's interesting. I wanted to talk about the Emperor himself because there were moments where I swear he was ADR'd a couple times. It looked like his.
Oh my god, me and Kelly said this. We're like his entire introduction scene is ADR'd, and it's just like his lips are just moving. Like
no, it's weird because I swear to God he is.
Wow, I didn't even realize that.
I swear he is doing the proper lip movements, but they seem like they're just so off-timed or something, and I'm just
it's not synced right or something. It's weird.
Yeah. Sometimes it is though in like the middle of the movie, but every other time it isn't. I'm like, what? Everyone else is talking fine. I thought I had lag on my copy, but it wasn't.
That's what I thought too. I'm like, hold on, and I think I rewinded once, and then I played over it's during the scene when he's like, we will build an army and build this decree to take down these wild invaders or whatever. but like he's
Yeah,
sitting on the
he's
throne.
tied
It's
up.
like, yeah, it's that shot where he's just sitting on the throne and very centered on his face, and he's like, it's just not synced. I'm gonna have to go back to it. It's really
It happened
weird.
when he
I'm gonna
tied
watch
up
that now.
too, man. When he was tied up too, like a couple of lines, I was just like, oh, dude.
Yeah,
That was
And
weird.
I don't know if that's just like an instance where like the actor doesn't speak the best English, and that's fine. But it is something that like stands out, and I feel like you could probably fix that in the edit at least to like time it better or get a different alternative angle. I don't know.
Yeah. I felt like they wanted to give him more to do in this one compared to the animated movie by like having him catch the arrow and then do all this stuff. I'm like,
Dude,
'cause
she
I
struck
don't.
full speed an arrow into the dude's chest from a kick.
Yeah, I'm just, and a lot of the slow mo
Those
in
are-
this movie like so unnecessary. Ugh.
And also the
Yeah, and I
chi
saw-
filter. You guys noticed the filter on the lens when the chi power is activated? I was like, okay,
Mhm.
cool TikTok filter, bro. But,
oh my god, no,
yeah,
and it was
I like
weird
the
because
filter, but I was like, it's weird.
yeah, no, another thing was weird. Talking about slow motion actually is so someone mentioned this. It feels like they shot all the action in a high frame rate to slow it down later.
Mm.
So when they play it back at full speed, the action just feels like uncanny and
Oh, there's a lot of
all over the
fast-
place. If it's not in,
Yeah.
like if it's not in the slow motion, if it's not slowed
I think-
down and it's just
I
playing
think there was a
normally, it feels
scene-
weird.
I think there was a scene
Mm.
where Mulan was like kicked into like a rock or a tree, and it went so rapidly fast. I was like, what was that? Is your back broken? Like, no, man.
But yeah,
It's so weird. I was so looking forward to this movie for a long time. Like I was giving it the benefit of the doubt that it was different from the original because I heard they were going to be more faithful to the original source material, but now I'm actually hearing it's not. And you know the removal of Mushu, which was funny because in the beginning they had those statues with the phoenix, and they had that whole thing. Literally right next to it, there's a dragon statue, but there's like let's not talk about that one. So we got, and I'm just like you knew like.
Mhm.
Yeah,
I will say easily my favorite part was the Ming Na Wen cameo. I think,
That was great.
especially in a better setting of a film, that would have been amazing. And it was still nice to see here. But like she was like, yeah, she's presenting the new Mulan. I'm like, okay, cool. But I've been through this journey. And I was like, I wasn't impressed. I was just like, yeah.
right. Yeah, it feels so weird.
But when she did come in, I was like, hey, it's Mulan. I was like,
Yeah, I was like, oh yeah. Did the whole Leonardo DiCaprio point to the screen?
I applauded. I was like, yeah, and she looked great. And
Yeah,
was like,
she
man.
always does, yeah.
it's weird
But
too.
overall, though,
I went to her page and she was sharing articles
this,
are just
yeah.
like, openly publishing like she has a cameo at the end of the film. I'm like, you want to just spoil that?
Wow.
Like New York Times and everybody straight up. I was like,
it's
okay.
like, hey, she's in it.
Please
But
pay
yeah.
30.
Please give us $30. But overall, it felt very. It felt like it just honestly. I feel like this movie would have been. I would have respected this angle of like the stripped down more like we're not going to do the songs and the whatever if it was more authentic had a more authentic kind of someone with an Asian background behind the camera. I think that's in writing wise, and it very much felt like strangely posturing, like it just like all the culture stuff kind of just felt a little off. And I think I've read some reviews from people from Asian descent that are like, hey, this is why this is bad, and like it's not for the reasons that we've really listed because we don't pick up on those things, and we kind of sometimes accept how Hollywood blemishes culture and kind of glosses over a lot of things in order to just make it look a certain way. And I think it just would have benefited tenfold if we had that kind of tour de force behind the camera. I mean, Nicky Caro is a fine director and all, but I just feel like it would have benefited much more to have that passion and that Asian descent to really bolster the source material in a way that I think the white people in this instance didn't really do service to.
Agreed.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Overall, it just felt very mid to me. Like I said earlier, like I think Lion King just didn't sit well with me because it was so trying to be faithful to the adaptation that it just lacked in such a big comparison.
Right.
But this one, it tried to move away from that, like Nathan said, but also it dived into new things like chi that also just didn't work. Like you wanted to be a grounded take, but then you wanted to bring in this phoenix thing, which never really worked for me. This whole chi thing, which didn't
Didn't
really
do
work
much
for
at all.
me.
Anyway, like it was
Yeah,
just
like
kind
what was
of
the point? It was like symbolism for something. Like
moral
okay,
support.
yeah, basically like here's a cool phoenix shot, really cool.
I'm pretty sure it was after every time like something beneficial happened is
Yeah,
like
it just
then it
flew into
shows
the
up.
screen. Yeah, I'm like, okay, thank you. Anyways, you're filling up
Beat
weird time here.
officer. Here's the phoenix. Like,
Yeah.
okay, after I've already been offered it.
Yeah. It just felt like it was lacking a lot. It didn't have that magic. It didn't have that like rhythm. It didn't have that good pacing to it.
Yeah.
Again, I think right after I watched it, I tweeted out like it's a 3 out of 5 for me, but I don't know. I might just be lowering that score the more I think about it. Like the only redeeming quality, like the stunts were okay, the visuals were really good, and I liked her dynamic with her dad.
Yeah.
But that's like the only character relationship that I can grasp onto. Everything else feels very hollow.
I was thinking about ranking it too, and I was like, is it better than Doolittle? And I'm like actually like playing
Wow.
and I'm like for the way it's shot, yes, it's better than Doolittle, but I don't think I have it too much higher. Like I think I have it like I quite enjoyed The Gentleman this year, but it's not at my highest.
I love The Gentleman.
Yeah.
It's definitely below that. In regards to the music too, I like that they had like little motifs.
What music?
I
don't
know.
even remember.
Like a couple times I picked up on the main Mulan theme, and
Me
I was
too.
Like,
yeah,
You're right. During like the Phoenix scenes too, and that's like flying over and leading her.
For the reflection song that they end up not using, which is a bummer. I think they might have even had the motif for "Make Man Out of You." And it's interesting because I'm pretty sure original Mulan only has like 4 songs anyway, but I felt it was kind of lacking because like every other Disney live action has leaned into the musical performances. I was surprised that this one didn't. I mean, I don't know if Cinderella did. I still need to see Cinderella.
Cinderella's freaking fantastic.
I
I can't
see it
remember
too. I
if it
haven't
dived. Oh, you guys gotta watch it. It's probably It's probably still number 1 for me in terms of Disney
Mr.
live action.
Kenneth Branagh, huh? He's coming in hot with his directing there, huh?
Yeah. Probably number 1 next to Jungle Book and Aladdin. I really liked Aladdin. Aladdin was a lot of fun. Yeah.
Both of you two want the Aladdin sequel. I know you guys are waiting for the.
I had so much fun with that freaking movie. I did not expect to walk out having so much fun. I want that Aladdin too, baby.
Me too, man. I want to see. I mean, I want a better Jafar, but
I kind of like what they're going for, but I do want a better Jafar too. Yeah,
I hope he can have a more commanding voice in genie form, which I guess they kind of allude to. Sounded better. Anyway, Mulan though. I will say I feel like the most invested I got emotionally, surprisingly, was just watching the end credit art because I love things like that, and just I was like watching just like the movements and like the lighting of it all and like the artistry behind that, and I was like, and also I really was enjoying the song performance that they were doing. But again, that's the end credits. Like that's not
the end
what's
credits,
supposed to happen. But I was just like, oh man, this is very. I'm having the most fun watching the end credit. That is horrible to say, but yeah, that's where I was, especially in regards to the music. Otherwise, it didn't really stand out, the soundtrack. And yeah, I'm happy I did not pay the $30.
Me neither. My mom paid for me. Thank you, Mom.
Yeah, Evan's mom paid for me. That's my cover.
Yeah, Evan's mom paid for me too.
Oh wow,
it's super nice. Everyone in Evan's login. But yeah, man, I don't want to see this be the. I would. I'm losing myself. I'm being distracted because my cat's scratching on the door. But I will say I'm not disappointed that I didn't see this in theaters like I initially wanted to.
Me too. Yeah.
I feel like if I did see it in theaters, I would have been like, oh, all right. Maybe I would have been more locked in the sound setting in the dark area.
Me
but
too, maybe.
Yeah.
Because I kept checking my phone because I was so bored.
But
Yeah,
even that, it feels so like it feels so like modern to the sense that it's just like so dry, and it just doesn't really feel like you don't feel like invested in the world because it very much feels like they're fighting on a soundstage, or they're like you don't get invested in the world. It's hard, and it makes me think of like some of the great like actual like the great samurai movies that I love. Like I was just looking up like on my letterbox. Like, have you guys seen the 2002 movie Hero? Like, fantastic movie.
I need to. Another one I need to see is actually I still have to properly watch The Last Samurai because I haven't seen that since I was like
I think.
Is it? I need to see it.
Maybe. I love that movie. Yeah.
What's another one I love? Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon.
Yeah, I've never seen that one either.
It makes me think of how meticulous and gorgeously shot the action is in that, because very much it's treated, those samurai fights are treated like a dance, and it's very much like very artful as well as brutal. And so it's the camera's very graceful and moving everywhere, and the characters are floating everywhere, and it very much has a flow to it. This felt just like rigid and very just like over choreographed, maybe. Like it felt weird that they were like running up the walls and like with the camera turns. It felt very like jarring and took me out of it a lot of times, just because it didn't really feel like they established it very well.
Some dude got kicked to the ground and the whole camera just goes tilt and back rub.
Yeah, it takes you out of the movie because you're like, oh, it's a camera here. Like, it doesn't feel like it's actually like purposely moving, and so that's just a no for me.
Yeah, man, and like to also give my own personal recommendations of, especially in terms of great choreography. Again, Donnie Yen's Ip Man films are some of the best martial arts films you'll see. Not just in terms of like martial artistry, but like the acting and story is great. The movie I just mentioned, Hero, Donnie Yen's actually in that too. So go check out that movie. Oh, okay. And also, I always recommend it to like everybody in chat, and I'm always blown over. Seriously, Man of Tai Chi is a great martial arts film that Keanu's in and that he directed.
Oh, that one.
Yeah.
Oh,
dude, it's
yes. You guys also need to. I brought this up before. It's the 2018 movie called Shadow.
Shadow. Yeah.
Incredible movie. Oh my god. There is literally a fight with like bladed umbrellas. That's all I need to tell you about this movie.
That's right.
It's incredible. And just everything in that. Oh.
So I'm ranking Mulan on Letterboxd right now, and I'm sitting here
because I just did that earlier before the podcast too.
Because I said like Doolittle is at my lowest. Which is funny because again I didn't hate Doolittle. I guess
isn't it crazy that Doolittle's 2020, you guys? Like that seems like
I know, dude. Dude, I'm sitting here right now. I'm like, did I like Mulan better than Scoob? I don't think so.
Scoob even seems like years ago.
I know. Okay, yeah. So I'm ranking it Mulan 13 out of 14 on the list, right under Scoob.
There you have it, folks. Official.
Those are the bottom three. Sonic the Hedgehog way better. New Mutants way better.
Like I have this number 23 out of 29 movies for 2020.
Busy.
Wow, you're almost at 30. Let me check what
almost at 30.
I'm at 20.
Oh wait, I am at 30 because I did not include I Am Thinking of Ending Things on my letterbox yet.
I am chilling at 14.
All right. I have it at number, if I could change this view, maybe.
Okay, well, I think
I have it second to last. I have my bottom four are The Call of the Wild, which I actually really enjoyed that movie in theaters.
That was this year. Oh God.
Like I cried during that movie. I teared up. That was emotional.
There's a dog.
Like the fact that they were able to convince me with a CGI dog, Harrison Ford. I was like, okay, whatever. And then I have The Hunt, which The Hunt is just, I don't know. I just dig it.
That's my worst movie of this year. It's bad.
And then I have Mulan below that. And then last, I have the ultimate Trolls World Tour, which I had to watch the other day.
That bad, eh?
Wait,
It's
you have
fine.
Mulan below Hunt,
Yes.
as in worse than Hunt.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
By one movie. It's literally right
Got
below it.
Dunkirk up here though, so
Like I have like Mulan right behind Greyhound and New Mutants, and
I still need to see Greyhound. I mean, it's on Apple TV though, so
better than Mulan. At least I was invested in Greyhound.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see because I know you probably have some thoughts on I'm thinking of ending things, and I'm so curious where you rank that
I do have some thoughts.
because
I
I
have
ranked
thoughts.
it pretty
I don't know
high.
how to express these thoughts.
I feel it's one of those movies you just want to watch right over again because you're like, hold up,
Yeah, I
so
might.
much is happening.
Yeah, we'll talk about it. Let's dive into.
yeah, I think that about covers
Tenet.
the Mulan stuff. But where does
Yeah.
Tenet rank in our letterbox? And
Yeah, I'll say that after our spoiler review. Ooh, there it is. There it is.
look at that, all caps. We're happy again. Are we?
There I am, Gary. There I am.
Yeah, man. So Tenet. I'm looking at my letterbox.
Let's discuss this thing. I mean, it's pretty high on my letterbox. I'm just gonna say right now, it's pretty high on my letterbox. And that's because like there hasn't been a lot of fantastic movies this year. But
Yeah.
and I had a fun time walking out of this. Like my dad and my brother really liked it. I had a fun time walking out. I was invested. It was just
Isn't
I
that
liked
ending
it a
scene
lot.
so good? Both
Really
of them
good.
standing together, and then
Oh.
also just the child thing at the end. I love how it ends on that. And I told you she's an emotional core of the movie in the path of that. By the way, before we get into everything, there is a theory going around that the son is Robert Pattinson in the past.
What?
And I absolutely subscribe to this theory because
Are
it
you
makes
insane?
total sense. It makes total sense because why would she's so adamant on the schooling, and there's also a little line when she's sitting there before they go off to the last battle. She's like, "Oh, did Neil already leave and didn't say goodbye?" And I'm like, "Oh my god!" So there's this whole theory going around that he's the son from the past,
Dude, I
and
love
like
that.
Wait,
they
how
would
is
have
that
never-
possible? I'm so confused.
they would have never met, or he would have never recruited him, and that would have never worked backwardsly because
Backwards.
anyway.
Wait, yeah. See, this is why I'm so freaking confused about this movie. Like, this isn't time travel. This is freaking inversion. How far back can you go to where he's a kid and then he knows him? I'm so
I guess it
confused.
depends what angle of inversion you float
Like-
for how long.
Let's talk about this. How does he know Neil? So apparently he knew, or Neil knew him, knew the protagonist before they met.
Yeah, they address in the beginning
Yes.
too when he just like knows how he likes his drink and stuff.
Yeah, so he knows
I'm so
him.
confused.
They have a friendship later, but don't actually like. They have to. He's recruited, or Neil. He's recruited by the protagonist in the future, but
Okay.
the protagonist has to get Neil's help in the past for Tenet to even be established in the first place, for that organization to even work, because it's all dependent on the algorithm not being activated, obviously, or there'd be no world. And so it's like all that ties together, and it's crazy. Did you catch? So in the beginning, in the orchestra sequence, that's Neil saves him. The same string on the backpack.
Wait, what?
Yeah, you gotta watch this movie again. That threw me for a loop.
You watched the prologue.
So yeah, Neil saves them in the beginning because obviously I think it's one of the attempts to like invert back and figure out how they're gonna not let the algorithm get fully into his hands. So he saved him in the beginning, but also I'm very confused about the beginning sequence
I'm going
because
to see Tenet this weekend. Fuck it.
because he says
gotta go
he
back.
says like the Twilight. How does he know the Twilight code words? And then he wakes up after the fake suicide pill and has to learn all about Tenet. I'm like, is he just posturing with the code words? Because he goes into that room and it's like, we live in a Twilight world. It's like, how do you know this stuff if you aren't even associated with the Tenet organization? And it's not, it wouldn't be a future him because he continues on that same timeline. And so I'm like, what is going on?
That's what confused me too, because I'm like, okay, so I thought he was already part of some organization prior to the movie starting. Like I thought the movie started and he was part of this Tenet organization, but then he dies, quote unquote, comes back, and then they tell him about Tenet. I'm like,
yeah. So I originally
just
thought
didn't know-
I originally thought that was an inverted version of him in the future or something, coming back to that moment to get that the encasing of part of the algorithm at that moment or whatever, and then that he got captured or like he got his identity, found out, and then he like dies or whatever, and he wakes up in that other version, kind of like we see later in the movie with when he gets frozen in the whatever, and then gets pulling out of the frozen car. That's not what happens.
I just didn't think the code stuff in the opening was even a Tenet thing until it was, and I was like, oh well, I didn't even.
So
think
doesn't it make that so confusing going back? Because how would he know that unless?
Now you just confused the heck out of me because I didn't even connect the dots. Like
this changes,
and honestly, that's the most complicated thing for me. I don't understand the opening like dynamics of where everybody is. Like it's so strange.
I thought the third act was the most confusing thing for me, but now the whole movie
honestly,
okay.
Just blowing my mind from the kid theory, dude.
Dude, yes, doesn't that blow your mind?
You've been raising him like a pig for slaughter. It's literally Deathly Hollow.
In that theory, Carson, has it been confirmed or denied by?
No, it has not been confirmed or denied, but it's like very.
I mean, has
right
the top in Inception been confirmed or denied?
Where's this Tenet fan base that I'm just empty on?
Reddit, man. I saw this on Reddit because I'm like, I need to go on Reddit,
maybe that's
like
why.
go figure out all the things. Because people drop out all these diagrams of like, okay, so this person's here, and I'm like, Robert Pattinson went through the time turner thing twice once during the ending sequence. And that was the ending sequence makes so much more sense if you see it again, guys. The action, of the inverted people, like
me, Carson. Break it through to me, baby. I have no idea what happened,
dude. I dare no one to make a sequel.
I dare them.
Nathan, stop it.
I dare him to make a sequel.
Explain this whole third act because I was getting the movie up until like she got shot, she got taken, then she got shot, and then they had to reverse her death, kind of.
So then they go to Oslo, right? And they have to get back forward on time. And so that's why and when she goes to the boat and shit, she doesn't have to wear a mask, is because she's now going normally through time again and not inverted.
So they go to the airport in Oslo.
Yeah, and go
by
through
inverting time.
And they see themselves and they're fighting themselves there, which is crazy, by the way.
That was all. I knew that was like that has to be him, right? That has to be him from the future or something like that.
I didn't know that. Why would you know
I caught it because I'm like
it does hold on his face, and you're like, hold up.
When you hold on somebody's face in a mask, I'm like, who else could it be that like
if it's a glaring visor in a dark costume?
But if it's somebody we don't. If it's somebody not them, then why not just show us his face? If it's somebody that's new to the audience, then it wouldn't really matter.
Why would you need to? But
it just felt like okay, this kind of thing.
I love it.
Anyways,
I didn't suspect it.
But anyway, so after they invert
her
to hospital,
yes,
they go forward in time after that, right?
Yes. So now they're going forward, and they're essentially right behind. They're right up against the day of the Vietnam vacation where she's on the boat, where we kind of see glimpses of in the first place of when she's throwing the raspberries and stuff and all that. It's that day, but they're a little behind that, so that's why they have that. She has that window of like where her and her son go to shore, and she knows that she can kind of like get in there and act like the past version of herself.
Okay,
that was so crazy to tie in to the the woman diving off the boat was her.
I love that too.
Oh, I love that. Yeah,
I love that. So pause. So that vacation she had with Kenneth Branagh, that happened around the same time as like the Oslo thing.
No, so that happened the day. I think the Oslo thing happened the day before. Because if I remember right, there's a scene earlier in the movie where after the initial Oslo fighting sequence, we cut to the boat, and then they're having breakfast, and then waiter pulls it off, and it's the painting because he knew to remove the painting. So that's where that all ties in. So it's like the day before, and then so anyways, then with the whole third act sequence, I'm still kind of confused on it. But basically, okay, so the blue team is inverted, and so that's why you see them. Aaron Taylor Johnson's explanation is kind of weird. It's like basically how you explain it is like they're
That was Aaron Taylor Johnson? Huh.
Yeah, man.
yeah. I know, it's cool. It's cool that he had.
I didn't even know he was in the
small
cast.
role.
It's like, what?
I don't know why I didn't connect the dots there.
I was like, where have you been since?
I didn't really recognize him with the beard.
Yeah, maybe that's why. I love him. He's a great actor. I didn't recognize him. Okay.
What has he done anything since 2015?
He did that one movie with Jake Gyllenhaal and Amy Adams.
Oh, okay.
That one thriller. I forget what it's called. Yeah, Nocturnal Animals. Yeah.
Nocturnal Animals, yes, and he's scary in that. Anyways, so they have to run this whole movement to basically like disarm the algorithm, right? That's the easiest way I can say it. But the issue is based on the perception of the inversion, like the blue team is already on the other side of that kind of thing. You know what I mean? Like they're coming backwards out. Like they're at the end of their mission as the red team's at the start of their mission. Yeah. Yes. So the red teams, I think that he says it is like the red team's goal is to like fail at it, because in order for the blue team to escape, kind of, I believe, which does it. But basically they had to like have chaos from either side in order for the protagonist and Aaron Taylor Johnson to slip in. But what throws a whole loop in the situation is they didn't know that the entrance was going to cave in once everything was kind of canceled out in terms of the blue team and the red team, and then all the insurgents, inverted like bad guys, normal bad guys fighting. So that caves in. So Robert Pattinson, we hear it at first, he's the guy in the car honking at him because he's like, hey, we got to do something about this. Then he has to switch and, go forward instead of not being inverted, because he somehow sneaks into the main part, and he goes through the turntable, and then that's when we see him get out of the place and get in the car, and then we see the car again, and then basically he's the guy laying on the floor. He's the one that opened the door for him. So he has to go back into that. He has to invert after they say their last goodbyes in that final scene. He has to go back and open that door because Aaron Taylor Johnson. Aaron Taylor Johnson character is like, I don't know a better locksmith, and so he knows he's gonna have to go back and do another pass of the scenario for to the work, and him committing to that
goodbye.
Yeah. Right after he commits to that, that's why everything works, is because that door does open. What's happened, because, eventually he's going to get to that and unlock the door, so then they can, get out, and then you see him getting dragged out. But it was crazy and confusing the first time because, like, there's just so much chaos, because there's like the red team blowing up, and then the things like reversing, and like objects are inverted, and like it's just so much.
Yeah, and I was trying to keep into it. Like, I'm trying to look in every little detail for this movie. I'm like, okay, what's going on? And I didn't understand that Robert Pattinson died in that scene. Right? Is that the one who got shot and he saved John? Yeah. So
because I think he noticed like the tag on his backpack. It's the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he died, but before that, like he still knew who John was before. So everything that happened prior to this mission,
Pattinson knows who John is, but John doesn't know who Pattinson is because he hasn't experienced a relationship yet.
Yeah. Yes. That's the best way to put
it. How do they experience his relationship if he goes to invert after they say goodbye?
John just went back, I guess, sent by him, I believe. And I don't know how inversion timeline works really. Like for example, when they do the whole sequence of saving her through the airport, like, do they have to like live through that existing time again while they're still doing their stuff in the present?
That's what I'm thinking.
So
like, are they coexisting and they have to be on different paths at the same time?
Yes, and I think yes, no, because there's a line where he's talking about like the it's like impossible to know because of the unpredictability of like parallel universe stuff of like and that's why it's so risky to live out on this.
And there's also like a sense of like predestined stuff too, because when he went to go to try to change the events, he was the leading cause of like all the encounters and stuff, like whether it was the car flip on the highway and everything. Like it just was already sealed. And don't they even like bring up the concept of free will and stuff?
Yeah, it very much mentions it, and like it's like even in that simple scene where the scientist is trying to explain like it's from the point of view you're dropping it, or like but the bullet's being picked up or whatever, stuff like that. That's like kind of how I think about it. It's like, I'm telling you, it makes so much more sense visually on a second viewing, like just the chaos of it all. And you pick up a lot more dialogue and the exposition of like all the science stuff. And what works best on the second viewing is Robert Pattinson, like, knowing him already. Like you get little lines of like, so there's a line when Elizabeth Becky's stuck in the car, and right after that where he hits the brakes with his hand, and then they get out, and then the inverted assailants of Sator's people start shooting at him, and then Pattinson's like, I'm calling the cavalry, and he's like, what cavalry? And it's Aaron Taylor Johnson and all those guys knowing, and that's when, because that's the assailants of the Tenet group from the future, already being formed by John David Washington's character. But this version of John David Washington right now hasn't formed Tenet yet. But dependent on these events and people looping him back into the picture from the future from himself, that's how it works. And it's like crazy.
Wait, so after the movie, after they say goodbye, he forms Tenet in a later timeline. John does. But at that point, Neo, Robert Pattinson's character, is already dead in that future timeline.
Moving forward. Well, I guess
moving forward, right?
Well, if it's the child,
yes.
Then...
Yeah, but if it's the child, then that makes it even more confusing because, like, the child's in that future timeline when Robert Pattinson's dead.
Exactly. So that's why he says.
I don't know, like, where Pattinson comes from, really.
Yeah.
So that's where the whole parallel universe.
But also, everything is set in motion from a future John Washington. So
exactly, that's why it's like hard for me. I need to just like draw it out because I'm confused that like.
I mean, it's the same. I mean, that's the whole plot, isn't it? How like things are being sent from the future to affect the past.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it talks about like the Godfather paradox too. Of like, I thought that was interesting. That like basically the future is like we're willing to risk it all and just like,
no separate timeline.
But how far back can somebody in the future go? Like, so 10 years down the line, can he invert stuff that happened in this movie? Like, can he go back to what happened in this?
See, it's hard because
it seems like they're like, you can't change anything at all. So I don't know.
Yeah. That's a good point.
But like, you are changing stuff if you're like affecting the past.
Exactly. That's what.
Unless it's all predestined, then I don't know.
Yeah, that's where it's confusing. It's because how much can you really be doing if it was all destined for the future to send back that stuff, and you to only invert in somewhat instances and then see your forward self do those events from a different perspective? Is like, oh my god. But it makes a lot more sense on the second viewing. At least a lot the car chase especially, and all the dialogue and like the inversion after that when they're like sitting there and he's trying to they show it from both perspectives. They show it from the forward side and the backward side of like where's the box, where's that stuff. That made a lot more sense on the second viewing. And then when he goes inverted, then you kind of get like a spatial sense of like, okay, he's actually butting through the middle of them, and then that's how the case gets like separated from the thing, and then the thing flies into the whatever. But it's just crazy. Like, honestly, it's Christopher Nolan's like most complex action. Like, it's easily, I think it's a little muddled in terms of like you just need another viewing of like, okay, there's just so much going on because it's a spy thriller. So there's like espionage, time stuff. There's like, it's the most like dense movie that I've seen in a while. So there's just so much to kind of unpack.
Yeah. It reminded me of like Memento, but like in terms of like action and like
Yeah,
more
definitely.
complicated. Oh yeah, I'm not gonna say anything then, but
I did see like
Yeah.
one like I didn't like properly see a clip from Memento, but there was like a shot where like it looked like he like caught a gun that was dropped, and I was like, wait, is this inversion? I was like, hold on.
lips are sealed. But
Oh, cool.
yeah, I even then, yeah, I'm like so lost. But thanks to Carson, I'm trying to piece things together. But even then, I had a great time. Like I had a great time watching this. The fight scenes are awesome. The movie is shot well. The score is fantastic.
Ludwig's
like,
score, oh my god,
so
it's
good.
amazing.
Like technically, this movie is amazing. And I was so invested in their friendship between Neil and the protagonist. Like I had a lot of fun watching their scene. One of my favorite lines is when he says like, "This is the end of a beautiful friendship," or "This is the start of the end."
Yeah, so
like
that's what I'm trying to decipher. Is he says this is just the beginning for you and the end for me. So that means there is that makes the kid thing make sense. Purely because if that Robert Pattinson is from the future and does affect, free will and changes everything, his past version going forward still exists. You know what I mean? And so if he is the kid, he's not being erased. You know what I mean? Because he's dead now. So it makes sense that he would go forward, complete school, become a physicist.
It's
and
crazy
then
though.
Eventually get recruited.
It's crazy though, because
but then would he still die the same way later? You just don't know.
Yeah, he's predestined, because if he doesn't die, then John David Washington's character doesn't make it, and then
doesn't recruit him in the first place. So
then nothing. Yeah, which I guess is also once again grandfather paradox stuff. I love time travel.
Me too.
Yeah,
Carson.
I was so like on my first viewing, I was so torn because like I couldn't hear anything. I don't, for some reason I was just, this movie is very loud and like nothing against it. Some of the sound mixing is just iffy, and part of it I think is because they're in masks a lot of the time, and there's a lot of distorted elements, so I think it's like just hard to hear in general.
There's
hard to pick up on because all the elements are just brought out to be like chaotic, because it's very much high octane action or whatever you want to say. But I don't know, so I was torn my first viewing, and then my second viewing I really, like Evan kind of mentioned, I really connected with the protagonist and Niels and Elizabeth Debicki being the emotional core of this movie. I mean, Christopher Nolan really has been fine, not the best at writing women. I really think that she takes liberty of her own arc here, and I love just like the final shot of this movie is her holding hands with their son and escaping all that trauma. I think it's really great and human. People often criticize Nolan's movies for being like ice cold and just like all about the science and the action, but I think this movie has some humanity to it. I really enjoyed that.
I felt that way like ice cold in terms of like Dunkirk, but like most of his movies have a lot of heart, like Interstellar, Inception, Dark Knight. Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say I'm never like disconnected. I honestly felt like I was more not completely disconnected Dunkirk level, but I don't think I was as connected with these characters as much as I was in like say Cobb or Cooper in Interstellar, Inception.
And that's the tough part of this movie, is because it's a spy genre, so everything's mysterious and espionage like, and like you have to put on that act of like a calculated agent, and there's all these different facades at play.
But also, if I look back at like knowing that they have an existing friendship, it gives a different lens from like viewing both of their different standpoints. Really.
And that's what really clicked for me on my second viewing, and I think that's where I kind of bumped it up from a 3.5 stars to 4 stars. That's where it really bumped it up for me, is because I really connected with their dynamic, because their chemistry is just so good in this. And there's actually a scene right after the second Oslo thing, when they go through again and they come out. Robert Pattinson gets like really excited because like I think John David Walsh said something like, so that's what we do, and he's like, that's what we do, baby, and you're like knowing that because they've been friends for years as like informed Tenet and like done, and he's so excited. And John David Washington, like that's his first glimpse of like figuring out that like probably the purpose of Tenet of what they're gonna do and try to decipher it all. I'm like, oh my god, it's amazing.
I now really need to see it again.
Yeah, I think Carson's really selling me on this, seeing this again.
Like, did you catch the beginning?
Like,
you gotta go again, guys.
Wait,
so
what happened? Yeah.
Nathan already brought this up. When their first scene, you think Robert Pattinson is like, just a well-informed spy person where he like knows everything about the protagonist. But the fact that he knows what he likes to drink and like, because he's like,
or that he doesn't have this, on the job. So.
Yeah, he's like, don't drink on the job. And he's like, actually, I prefer soda water. And he's like, no, you don't. I'm just like, I just love that.
Yeah. So again, Neil knows the protagonist because they had this relationship, like that developed in the future after the movie ends.
Yes.
While the movie's going,
or while the movie's going.
But I guess as the inverted war, I guess, is shaping up, as all stuff is becoming known, I guess, they probably figure out that their best chance of it, or the only chance of it, is stopping it at that point in the protagonist's past with the precipice of everything happening with, with Sator and getting the last piece of the algorithm. So they know they had to infiltrate that, but since the protagonist hasn't even formed Tenet yet and is still, just an espionage spy person and hasn't really understood it all yet, or even found the, allegiance to make Tenet in the first place, it's like, it feels like an impossible mission because you're sending back future Neil to train the person he got trained by in the future to like know all this Tenet stuff, which is funny.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's so interesting. It seems like there's just multiple. It does seem like there's multiple versions of time travel in this, in regards to like both predestined and also able to change.
The side character, the arms dealer's wife. I can't remember her name.
Right.
Yeah.
She's like, you think you're the only protagonist. Sounds like there's like just multiple attempts on different timelines to like try and figure this out.
Didn't he tell her that she was wrong? I'm trying to remember.
Well, he was telling her that like, and that's where I'm like, I don't know if at the end of the movie, if that's future him like showing up, because I'm like, how would he show up that fast? Because she makes the phone call and he says posterity will answer. I'm like, wait, what is that? It's so ominous when he gives her the phone earlier in the movie before they go off to the main battle. And then he shows up in the backseat immediately after the call. So I'm like, he figure out that moment in the future and then know that he has to cut in right there and shoot her at the end. I'm like, oh my god, it's just
Jesus. Okay, also before we end, like, why was the arms dealer wife going after the Becky's character in the end there? Like, was she trying to kill her?
So she was like, I guess, tying up loose ends, I guess, as they put it in the movie.
Yeah. That's what it was. Yeah.
But I don't really know why she would still be a threat, I guess. Oh, you know what it is? It's probably because... It might be because that's the Elizabeth Debicki from... that got inverted back and then went forward.
Yeah,
does that make any sense? And so that version of her is moving forward, so that's kind of a loose end of knowing.
What happened.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay.
Now I know Tenet.
It's all. I mean, I still don't, but Carson does help a lot. It does help to talk through this with you guys because I left the movie theater. My dad's like, "So what'd you think?" I'm like, if you're gonna ask me to explain this plot to you, like I usually do,
I know it's like you need like 2 or 3 hours to sit down and just decompress. I'm like, I don't want anyone talking to me. Just like let me like.
Yeah. We haven't even gotten to the parking garage. He was like, "So what was that about?" I'm like, "Dad, I don't know." Like, I liked it. I had fun. The fight scenes were incredible, But
The
yeah.
choreography, especially that scene
So
when they
fun.
fight each other, and then you see it.
so awesome.
Like, how do you even come up with the coverage to shoot it from the first John David Washington's angle, and then you flip it completely and shoot it like inverted, and then you have inverted stunts and normal stunts. Like, oh my god!
I found it so fascinating where it was like he was fighting the dude in the past, and it was like sucking bullets behind him. But then, like in the future, he realized, oh, I have to actually like shoot it myself, which is
yes.
This movie,
wow.
Man. So, where did this rest on your Nolan ranking?
I actually have that.
Because I'm in my letterbox. I have it. 1, 2, 3,
I'm incomplete because there's still a couple Nolan things I need. Like, I'd say like the top 2 Nolan films I really need to see are Memento and Prestige.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you definitely need to see Prestige, especially as Evan would say.
Yeah, but otherwise, I have all the other main Nolan.
Yeah.
To that point, okay, so just in terms of my ranking of Nolan, at number 1 I have Inception. Number 2 I have Batman Begins. Number 3 I have The Dark Knight.
You're a Begins guy.
Apparently so. There's a lot of heart in Begins, man. I love it.
There is.
4 I have Interstellar. 5 I have Dark Knight Rises, and 6 I have Tenet. 7 I have Dunkirk.
And that's it.
So
cool.
I have it. Okay, well I'll just read through mine. Number 1, Interstellar. Number 2, The Dark Knight. Number 3, Dunkirk. Number 4.
See, I love
Inception.
Dunkirk, but even I'm like, hold on.
Number 5, The Prestige. Top 5, Evan. It's in the top 5.
Okay.
Number 6, Batman Begins. Number 7, Tenet. That's where I currently have it. Number 8, Memento. Number 9, Dark Knight Rises. Number 10, Insomnia. Number 11, Following.
I still haven't seen Following. I don't think.
But the problem is that all these movies are great. Like,
yeah, these are great.
It doesn't miss.
There's one movie I just don't like, but I guess 2. But yeah, number 1 for me is The Prestige, bar none. It's just perfection.
It's fantastic. It is.
Number 2, Inception. Number 3, Dark Knight. Number 4, Memento. Number 5, Batman Begins. Number 6, Interstellar. Number 7, Tenet. Number 8, Insomnia. Number 9, Dunkirk. And 10, the movie I just do not like, Batman Dark Knight Rises. Just not for me.
You don't like The Dark Knight?
What do you like about it? I'm curious. I mean, I don't like it the best out of the trilogy.
I saw it once in theaters, and then I saw it once on DVD again. It's just not clicking with me. I don't like the main conflict. I don't like it. Just
have you watched it? Have you watched it in like the context of a trilogy binge?
Not really. I usually stop with Dark Knight, but I don't know. I'm not a fan of Bane. I'm not a fan of his and Batman's dynamic compared to like Scarecrow and Batman and Joker and Batman.
Sure. So your story ends where Batman's on the run and wanted.
Heck yes. Yeah. I mean, it's better than him going to freaking London with Ben Affleck.
I mean, the Dark Knight ending is perfect. So that's a fair ending point.
They all have great endings.
I don't know what it is with Dark Knight Rises. I'm not emotionally connected at all with that movie.
Alfred's crying over the grave, and you feel nothing.
Oh my! I tear up every single time. Like that, Michael Caine crying, I'm crying.
You like Michael Caine more than Tenet?
By the way, Michael.
Yeah,
Caine
I do. That dinner scene's fantastic.
He's like, you British folks have a monopoly on snobbery, and he's like, no, more of a. What does he say? No, more of a controlled, like, I can't remember what he says, but it's like totally Nolan dialogue. There's some little funny moments in this. There are like little Nolan, little jokes. Like, especially he's like in the room at the yacht, and the Russian dude comes to the door. Is like, Mr. Sater wants to see you. He's like, Mr. Sater wants to see me without pants on. I'm like, it's so dumb and cheesy. But
that's why I like the main character so much. He's still very like endearing. Like you get a lot about him, even though you don't really know his name.
And I like that we see him at this point in his career, quote unquote, because he does have like that naiveness to him. Peter's like, how do you want to die in this profession? Old. Like, It's just so funny.
You chose the wrong profession.
It's like he breaks character just to be a goof sometimes, and I love that a little bit.
But then he's such a badass, like during the fight scene, like in the kitchen.
Dude, the scene in the kitchen, cheese grater.
So
It's a cheese grater. That guy's face rips it.
Oh,
and then in comedy, he just walks out and they just drive away like, oh crap.
dude,
That dude has never gotten to gear so much faster. He's like,
action was so hardcore, man. It's so good.
It was good. But yeah, this is another W, I guess, for Nolan.
yeah. I hope it makes a profit, guys.
Me too.
Tenet sequel.
It has all month to do some work. But yeah, let's dive into. I want to dive into. I'm thinking of ending things.
Yeah, that takes
we'll
us
make
to our
it
things
somewhat
we've
quick.
watched.
Yeah, we'll make it quick. I mean, I don't have a lot to say. I finished it today. I watched half of it last night. Watched part of it this afternoon. I think what Carson said to me in the DM is kind of like exactly what I ended up thinking. Like, performances are fantastic. I like the writing a lot. Now, this is the kind of movie where it's a psychological thriller, and I'm trying to guess every little hint and clue of dialogue that I can try and connect with past scenes of dialogue. And it sounds confusing, but like if you watch the movie, you'll know.
Yeah,
and
I totally
there's certain
understand.
lines that I'm just like, oh, okay, that connects to this. But then everything that happens in the house, Carson, I'm just like, huh? Yeah. And then especially at the high school, I'm like, huh?
So apparently it's much different in the book. Okay. But I will just say, because it's based off a book, but I will just say, like, a lot of people have been saying to envision it as a, kind of harrowing look back into the memories of Jesse Plemons' character from the old man's perspective. And so if you think about,
yes,
you think about the ending scene in particular, I won't say it, but like, why would all these people be there? And it's like, he's speaking to his memories of, that's why it's like all that makeup is like very like weird and distorted, because it's like he's losing his mind kind of like looking back through his life. But it's like strange because ironically, this is the movie where I was more on board versus Tenet, because they do have a little bit of some comparisons of like,
wow,
of like, I'm just gonna not turn my brain off, but just go through the experience and feel it, because it's very like, it jumps around, and I feel like I don't want to connect it of like, oh, I want to find out all the connections. I just want to kind of like feel the experience and like the emotions of it. And it's very much like that. It's not like plot heavy of like, oh, this is the big reveal and this connects to this. It's very much like kind of like a weird trip through time that you kind of like try to understand it more from the characters instead of like what they're actually experiencing. And I just love Jesse Buckley is so good. Jesse Plemons is so good in this movie. And I think there's some really, I think the writing does have some really deep themes about just kind of like, just about kind of letting yourself go, and like, honestly, some stuff about like, you are what you consume, like, what you are, the art that you consume. I love the scene in the car where she's like pretentiously like going about that movie. I can't remember what
now
movie
it's fascinating to me. I'm like, is this a time thing going on here? But I don't know. It was just because he started talking differently, but it was also very funny.
Yeah. And obviously the movie takes place in Oklahoma, but it's snowing. So from the very get-go, something's weird. Like I
didn't even think about that.
Yeah, because it finally cuts to the outside of the car, and you see the Oklahoma license plate, and you're like, what the heck?
Yeah.
So it's very tough.
From there, you don't know.
See, this is the thing. Like, I was trying to find the heart in this, and it kind of lost me towards the end. I was invested in the middle, beginning towards the middle. I love everything in the house, but then towards the end, I just kind of lost interest because I lost the heart of it all.
Because it does switch POV, and then it asks you to get on board with that, and that's
the thing. I don't think I did. Yeah, it's a perfect way of saying that, Carson, because it switches, and I'm just like, I don't know. I like Jesse Buckley. Like, I don't know if I got. Yeah, I lost the heart of it all.
after it shows like the younger versions of them in the school, I really liked that stuff. And then right after that is kind of where it lost me a little bit.
Agreed. Yeah, I like part of the ending, but then the ending, I was like,
But it's also a movie like I recently watched a Kaufman movie for the first, my first Kaufman movie. It's called like Synecdoche, New York, which
Yeah.
is Philip Seymour Hoffman starring in it, and it's similar of kind of like a descent into madness about like this one is much more like living it though. Like the characters around him are reacting to like his lapses. So like he'll meet up with somebody in the movie and they'll be like, "Oh, I just saw. When are we gonna do this?" And like they haven't spoken like 5 years because he's just losing his mind from dementia, and he's like this crazy artist guy, and he's building this entire play essentially where there's sets and stuff from his whole life, and he's trying to like play characters of his past self to like maintain and keep his memories. So that's just a very confusing kind of crazy movie about time and emotions and stuff. But so that's where I had I guess different expectations for I'm thinking of ending things.
I had my expectations set with Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind,
which Nathan watched last night.
Yeah, that's
I still haven't seen it yet.
Have you all seen that now?
I haven't seen it.
You say you haven't seen it. Oh,
so Kaufman wrote that movie.
Yeah, he wrote that movie. I felt like that movie is the definition of heart. There's a lot of heart in that movie.
Yeah.
Dude. My heart was an emotional roller coaster, but I was so invested in their dynamic that I wasn't really I was trying to be invested in the main character's relationship in this one. I couldn't really get there, especially towards the end. But maybe it does if I understand it more. If I watch it again, maybe I'll have more.
I think I'm gonna read the book too. I feel like that'd be super interesting because it does seem like a very internalized book where you get like get those like self monologues with each other, and I feel like that would really add to it. So I might check out the book.
So what did you rate this? Did you put it above Tenet in your?
I did actually. I just it just resonated with me. Okay. I just love Kaufman as a writer, and I guess I'm just biased towards that.
That's fair. I think I would put it kind of lower. Like it's in that range of The Platform for me, where I like it, but also like there's a disconnect at the same time.
Yeah, I'd agree. I think it's like the kind of the middle to upper of my list right now, maybe at like 6 or 7 or something. But yeah.
But yeah, Nathan. So you saw Eternal Sunshine?
I did.
I hope you're okay. I hope you're okay, man.
I saw it. I was like, I was in a mood last night, and I was like, do I really want to shatter my world and watch this? I'm thinking of anything. So I was like, nah, let's go to the Eternal Sunshine since it's on Netflix. And I was happy that it was. Seems like all the Kaufman stuff is on Netflix right now. But yeah, I went to go watch it, and then immediately after, I wrote sad stuff. I just like broke out my notepad and I was just like writing dialogue, and I was just like, ugh.
Like, this is Jim Carrey's best movie, in my opinion. Best performance,
really,
best movie.
So. I was thinking about how he's done a couple of serious roles, which was so weird to me. Like back when I was a kid, like I knew Jim Carrey to be a funny man, and then like randomly, I never watched it, but I know we had a copy of The Number 23, and I was like, this is so out of left field for Jim Carrey to me. I didn't watch it, but it's like a suspense thing. And then I knew they did this one, which I've joked about, that I know that it's not true. The DVD cover from some critic says it's a rip-roaring, hilarious, good time, and I'm like, hold on, no.
Yeah, not.
I don't know if Carson, do you know like anything at all about this film?
I know nothing, and I'm trying to keep it that way.
Yeah, just don't say anything.
Yeah, I'm not, but it's what a film, man. Like, great dynamic from Jim Carrey and Kate Winslet. They're amazing.
Perfection.
Oh my god, it's so good. The whole, I mean, there's a lot of stellar, a lot of cast members I didn't even know that were in this. Which was a shock. I don't know if Carson also wants that to be a surprise.
Yeah, let's just not say
I
anything.
mean,
Yeah.
okay, that's fine.
Okay, yeah, it's just like, what, you? What?
The discovery is a cool thing. It's like, oh,
Like,
okay,
you
they're in
sure, but you and you
Yeah.
look so different.
I will say about I'm thinking of anything. Seeing Remus Lupin was entirely
Yeah.
satisfying.
it.
Like
was.
I'm like, oh my god, where have you been for like 10 years? Here you are. And he was he was scarily good in the movie. Same
He
with
was
really
Mike, but
wasn't he?
they're
creepy. Yeah.
But yeah, I was watching the film, and it's so interesting following the dynamic. It's storytelling of different points of view where
Mm-hmm.
it felt Nolan-esque. Honestly, I was like, Tenet, who? In like the best way though, because there's so many great
Totally.
concepts like going off of different things. Because, I mean, in the title, like they bring up the mind, and like you go into the mind, and it's so fascinating, but also there's just this deep-rooted romance that is just so just the heart is the heart.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
Well, I think I know one thing about it. Isn't it about him like trying to like cope with the breakup? I don't want to get into too specifics or
Yeah,
like
that's fair.
okay.
Yeah.
it's so deep.
Damn.
Dude, it was funny though, because at the beginning they're like showcasing the relationship between Kate Winslet and Jim Carrey, and like when you watch it, you're like, this is going rapidly fast. This feels weird. I feel disjointed. Why is it going like this? But then when you get into the context of like how things roll, you understand like, oh no, this totally fits. This
Yeah.
the reason everything goes.
Wow, I'm excited.
That's as deep as I can get for it, but it's
That's a great way of saying it. Yeah.
yeah, it's dude. This I'm not gonna say like it changed me, but like kind of.
It kind of. I don't want to sing too high of praises, but it sets the bar in terms of relationship films. A lot of relationship films, like this one, is just so complex. It's the definition of complex and
feels real.
How would you put it
real.
on the like? How would you compare it to like something like Her? Like, is it up there with Her for you guys?
It's up there. Like I put it up there with Her and something that's coming to mind right now. I don't know if it's a really good comparison, but 500 Days of Summer, in terms of having a genuine, real, raw relationship that isn't just
And About
like
Time,
cliche.
of course.
And About Time too. Like like they're not playing the cliches at all. They're just making this very real and emotional. And you can't, like in any relationship, you can't pick sides. So
There's definite About Time.
it's great.
For sure. Dude, I'm trying to just. I can't get into anything. I'm like locked in this box of just like this so much, but it's so good. I don't know if it's something I'm gonna like necessarily like rewatch constantly,
yeah.
but like I will gladly revisit it and just like feel all the feels.
It's probably like a once a year movie for me. I can't do a lot. Like I could watch Your Name like 2 or 3 times a year, but this one probably like once a year. Whereas like it hits deep and I need time to recover.
I feel like there's like snow on the poster for some reason. The weather's getting cooler. Maybe a time to throw it on
it's a very
soon.
cold
You know?
time.
It feels like a fall movie. It feels like a cold fall.
It
movie
is a good
with,
fall
like,
movie.
To feel that
Yeah.
warmth, but like
It's very
also
wintry.
sadness.
Yeah, watching it before your Harry Potter binge.
Perfect. I'm sold.
Is interesting too, because it's also in like present day, early 2000s is when it came out.
Ooh, okay.
And takes place, and like just seeing that aesthetic with these actors, I know it's just like always fun. Because I didn't watch it when it came out, so like going back, it's always an adventure. I'm sure you felt that way watching The Matrix. Was just like look at all these.
Oh my
banana
god,
films
yeah,
and
of
stuff.
course.
But like I'm just like, look, and the world like still functions. Like it's not like based on like. I mean, there's some tech stuff where it's just like that is an old computer, but it's a. Again, I like the aesthetic. I like the actors in it. I feel inclined to agree with you, Evan, that this is totally Jim Carrey's best performance. I think.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he's like been transformative in comedy with a lot of different roles, but in terms of just like powerhouse emotion, like this takes the cake by far.
Yeah.
And again, I
think-
want to sing high praise of Kate Winslet. She was phenomenal in it.
Yeah, I was just about to say, I think Kate Winslet is the star of this movie for me, and I
Did he even get nominated back in the day for this, or was this kind of overlooked?
I'm
by
not
Oscars?
sure. I'll look that up. But yeah, I think I watched this because I was on a Jim Carrey binge like 2 years ago when I watched this movie. I watched this like back to back with the one where he's like in a. Well, I don't want to spoil it, but It's the one where he's what's it called? In the
Ace
studio?
Ventura.
Yeah, no, it's like he's living life, but it's kind of fake-ish.
Is that the number 23?
No,
No?
I'm blanking on it, but yeah.
Wait,
but,
living life. It's the
Wait, talking
Truman
about
Show?
Truman Show.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah, I was gonna say.
I watched that back to back, and I'm like, dang, these are some Jim Carrey classics
I
right here.
still haven't seen that movie either. Back to
Oh
back.
my God. No, it's great too because like there's some humor in the Truman Show, but like at the core of it, it's like
It's
an
deep.
emotional thing. Dude.
Yeah, it's hard.
I'm
Like,
ready.
oh my God.
I'm telling him and Sandler can just turn it on when they want to. It's unfair. Like they do the most absurd movies, and then every once in a while, you get that serious role, and it sounds like he had like a little bit of a. I'm excited to explore a little bit of Jim Carrey renaissance of
For real,
serious
man.
roles
Like,
in this time,
when you look at something like Dumb and Dumber and like The Grinch, The Mask,
which I absolutely love him in, of course.
yeah, for sure. Or even like Sonic, it's like it's such a departure. Like you don't like you. Those are what he's most known for, so you don't really think about his serious acting side. But then you look and it's like, oh no, yeah, he's got there. And it's a funny thing too. Whenever I look at his Twitter, it's like it's all serious.
I know. It's like, wait.
In terms of awards, this did win Best Original Screenplay in 2005.
Rightfully.
Yeah,
Nice.
rightfully so.
2005? Oh.
It came out in 2004, but 2005.
I just need to go on a Kaufman binge because I got to see. I want
Me
to
too.
watch. I haven't seen Being John Malkovich. He wrote that.
Me neither. Yeah, that's
I
on
was
Netflix.
thinking about that too. I saw that was on Netflix, but like
Yeah.
the cast doesn't list John Malkovich, so I was like, is he okay with this?
Is he okay?
I always
Is he
thought he was the
alright?
lead of that movie, but I guess not.
I was reading the synopsis and I was just like, is this legal? No. But yeah, dude, this film is great. I love it. No, never mind. No, there's nothing.
Just leave it at that. It's a great movie.
My brain is just
Leave
going
it at that.
everywhere. I love the aesthetic. That's about it.
We're at
though.
2 minutes. We're over 2 hours, anyways. We can wrap it up.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
No, Carson, wait. You watched Bill and Ted too.
Okay, quickly. Bill and Ted 2. Honestly, I liked it better than the first movie somehow. I really liked the first movie. It is the Last Jedi, Bill and Ted. You have no idea what this movie is.
It really is. Dude,
You
it's
expect it to just be like a time travel movie, and it just goes over here.
There's time travel, but it's not the forefront at all.
It is not the forefront of the movie at all, and it's all the better for it. And
You go to
when
so
you get to
many
the
other
final,
places.
when you get to the final climax of the stage, and there's like literally like, I won't even say Evan because it's just hilarious. It's just so worth it.
I'm not going to watch this
Trying to
movie.
spare. No, I know you're not, but you should. Come on, man. They're so.
Anyways, so I'm just like so invested in these two guys now, and I'm excited to watch the third one and just finish out the trilogy.
The Logan of Bill and Ted.
The Logan of Bill and Ted. I'm ready.
Jesus.
Oh man,
It's so funny because I
that's my
always
Bill
hear
and Ted
people
theory.
like in the public conscience to say like they didn't like Bill and Ted 2 compared to the other ones. Or
That's
compared to the
bogus.
first one.
I bet you watched
Pun
one stuff in
intended.
a review and said that.
No. I mean, I didn't watch any reviews. Like, I have a couple friends at work, and I was talking to them like how my friends were watching these movies, and they're like, "Oh, I didn't like Bill and Ted 2, but I heard good things about 3, and I liked 1." So
I heard that from my
That's what I
dad
hear.
when he showed me the films. He was like, "What did you think of 2?" And I was like, "I liked it better than the first." He's like, "Really?" But
yeah,
like,
I guess
that was
that's the thing.
and now I'm like, no, I prefer 1 over 2. But then when I heard Carson like, I think I like that more, I was like, oh my god, you're me.
They're
Hasn't
so
happened
fun, man.
Dude, they're
Honestly,
so fun.
they boost your spirit for like 3 days. Like you just
I'm telling
honestly,
you, the most optimistic trilogy ever, and their dynamic is phenomenal.
Wow.
yes.
Like
Props, Mike.
like so much today is just like, yes, we have Kevin Hart and The Rock, but no, Bill and
No,
Ted.
yeah. They set the bar so they could run.
Jeez,
I think we've said it a couple times. It's like being a stoner comedy without there actually being stoners.
Yes, and that's what makes it hilarious.
Are they not high in
We
these
have
movies?
this much fun sober.
No, and that's what's so
What?
funny. There is an actual scene where they play Twister with the devil in this movie, Ivan.
No, not the
Or
devil.
With death.
The
Sorry.
Grim
Oh wow, so much better. It makes a lot more sense.
No, it's for real. It's great.
I'm sure it is.
He's killer on base. Anyway,
That was fun.
it's good stuff, man. But yeah, I guess that wraps up this show that went for a bit. So
We dissected the heck out of that Dune trailer.
for real.
Like, let's play it back again. And I'm just like, oh, have you heard of the Fremen? Like, blue eyes and the spice. Like,
No, that's funny though, because Carson's the only one who's like a little bit into the actual book. But like, I guarantee when the Mandalorian trailer finally comes, we're all gonna be just hour and a half that alone.
3-hour podcast.
actually, the holiday special from whatever has the special creature, which was first featured in a comic run by
issue number 25.
George Lucas' photo of Baby Yoda being cradled. You can see the Star Destroyer.
The Guardians of the Wills, originally published as original title of the Star Wars lore.
That being said, we will be going live on Hyperspace Hype tomorrow instead of Friday. Nobody's made it this far, doesn't matter, but let's go anyway.
Let's go. Plug it anyways.
Yeah, if you catch this before tomorrow. Somebody stuck around like, oh, they're talking about Bill and Ted too? Okay.
I'm going to like the video now.
For real. I should have said that at the top of the
Maybe.
top of the morning. All right. Yeah. We had fun here on this episode. It was great to dissect the trailer. It's great that we unlock screen share, new achievement. But yeah, it was great. That being said, Evan, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at HarrisEV9, Discovering Technology. No. There's not that many movies coming out this weekend. I might see Tenet again. There is this movie called Unpregnant coming on HBO Max that I might see. It's with Haley Lou Richardson, which I really love. From Split fame. So yeah, I might watch that. I don't know. I might catch up on some TV too. But yeah, this was a fun podcast. I had a lot of fun diving into Dune, Tenet. I'm going to watch a lot more trailers for Dune after this. But yeah, it was a fun podcast.
Carson, where can the good people find you?
You guys can find me reading Dune and singing the praises of Bill and Ted 2, Bogus Journey. Stay excellent, dudes. But you can also find me on Twitter at the Film Carson, probably just talking about Dune, because I am so invested in this movie now that we've seen the trailer and all its glory. I hope it comes out in December, and I hope that it's safe enough that we get a full audience kind of back in motion for really to take advantage of that holiday season. So I hope it's the Christmas gift for us all, is what I'm trying to say. But yeah, catch us on Hyperspace tomorrow. Can't wait to talk about Mandalorian stuff.
And as always, you can catch me on all various social medias linked in the description below, especially on Twitter, talking about how Rey Kenobi is not better. But yeah, man, we're going to dive into all that tomorrow. There's a lot to discuss, whether it's problematic actors or vice versa of actual Star Wars content. So,
oh wow, we're getting into that. Okay.
Oh, dude, I've bookmarked so much.
Oh, it's a topic.
Oh, jeez.
I know it's going to be insane, but it'll be fun because at this rate, I think everybody but Evan has run into the block.
Yeah.
It's insane. But yeah, if you enjoyed our podcast this week, be sure to hit the like button, subscribe if not already. And with that being said, I hope you have a great day, and may the Force be with you always.